place to go win a championship, and then we're worried about making it to the track the next week. But I think that just shows how strong everyone on this race team is and how hard we all work.
This is just such a great group of guys. Everyone's so passionate, and we work really hard. You know, we're not the biggest team, but we proved tonight we're the best.
We are a small team, but I think for us to go out there and compete and have the second most wins on the season at this point and be toe-to-toe with the biggest team in the series is really special, and it speaks a lot about everyone here. Everybody on this race team travels. We don't really have any just shop guys. Scott Zipadelli, we've got a great relationship in the race team and a great relationship outside of it. He's very passionate about his job, and as a driver, that's all you can ever ask for. Truck chief, that would be the guy with the mustache. He works extremely hard. Every chance I get the chance to work with him is an honor towards me because I know he's going to give me everything he can to make the most out of the race truck. Peter, truck driver. Fred, he's fresh out of college, so we've been kind of teaching him some things this year. Mike Davis, really young the first time I worked with him, so he probably taught me some things, and it's good to get back working together. Ron, he's the interior guy and the tire guy. I'm very laid back when it comes to the truck. I'm like, if I can reach everything and fit in it and see everything through the mirrors, I'm good. He's probably more on me about making sure it's all right than I am. Mr. Jerry's really funny because he's, you know, elderly, I would say. He's the old guy on the team, but he's super young at heart. Everyone's personalities just fit together so well. It's more like a family than a race team or a job.
So here's a team that's definitely pushing a boulder uphill, and they're succeeding at it, Todd. This is a great story of a bunch of guys who are very passionate, doing what they want, but they're doing it against the odds. It's, again, a great story.
It is. You know, I'm of the mindset I would rather have 8 quality guys than 28 guys that kind of halfway do their jobs. You know, they got 8 guys here that are very committed. First, they work day and night, 10, 12 hours a day. And they all are very good at their jobs, and they understand these trucks, and they know how to make them go. And when you have a guy like Scott Zipadelli that can lead them, Scotty's been in this kind of situation before where he's not had the funding, he's not had the crews, he's had to be the guy getting out there and getting dirty. So he understands how to make it work. And I like this team. I like everything about it.
I do too. And the thing is, when you talk about Scott Zipadelli and his Magnificent Seven, I mean, they are showing to me old school tendencies, because when I went into racing, even working for Junior Johnson, we didn't have a big group of guys. We had about 12, maybe 14 total people running a couple organization, working for Kel Yarborough and doing whatever it took to get to victory lane and to win championships. I mean, it brought together a brotherhood like no other. And that's what this group here is. I mean, it doesn't make any difference how many hours we got to put in, whatever we got to do. You go over here and find us some money and talking about the owner, and the rest of us will take care of business. And they've been
whatever it takes.
They've made very few mistakes. And the only thing we see, especially when it comes to these 1.5 mile racetracks, is all of a sudden Brett Moffitt coming from nowhere right at the end and saying, hey, my checker flag tonight. See you later.
Yeah, you know, I know what you're talking about. In 91 and 92, when I first started in the Busch Series, we ran 28 races, and we had 5 employees. And I was one of them. We worked day and night, and we got the job done, went to the racetrack, and had fun.
So this is a real good story that's probably only getting better throughout the end of this season. Now, another driver who may be considered an underdog in the playoffs is Stuart Friesen. Originally a dirt track racer from Canada, Friesen has shown he's also pretty talented on the pavement, competing for the Truck Series Championship in just his first full season.
I've spent the last 10, 15 years, you know, in the dirt modified divisions in the Northeast, and you know, just fortunate to be at this level and competing in the Truck Series. So to win the championship would be really special for myself and for Halmar and all the people that gave me a shot, you know, over the past, you know, decade or so, and you know, it gave me the opportunities. We did a lot of work over the offseason to align our team with Chevrolet and with the GMS Fab Shop. You know, Trip Bruce and the guys have worked so hard all year and bringing competitive trucks to the track, and we've been rewarded with a lot of top 5 runs and a couple second places, and you know, so the success is just a part of that.
So Jeff, what are his chances? Can he win this championship?
Why not? I mean, I think that's more the question right now, because he has been very, very consistent, and just all he's got to do, he's got to get to Homestead. And I think he's got enough talent, and the guys right now on that organization, they should be able to get the job done, Todd, to get him to Homestead. And if he does, well, he's got a legitimate shot.
He does, you know, and everybody knows how I've been talking about Stewie all year.
You sold me on him.
I know. He should have won 2 or 3 races by now, and that's honest. That's not a given. But he's going to be good in the future. I think he's part of the future of this series. If he doesn't win this championship this year, he's going to go down the road and he's going to have his shots at it, because this guy, he can absolutely drive. You know, he knows how to win races. He wins a lot of dirt races, championships there. He knows how to get it done, and he's going to be a part of the series for a while.
Well, the main thing is that they don't have any kind of quit in this organization either. And I like the composure that he shows behind the wheel. He makes a lot of good decisions, and he knows how to close the deal out. And he's already got like 7 top 5 finishes this year in a series that he's not had a ton of experience.
Another driver you better keep an eye on as this thing rolls on. Now, coming up on race day, we'll take a look at the playoff picture to see where we stand after the first race. We'll also hear from another one of our championship contenders when race day returns.
You're watching NASCAR Race Day, only on FS1.
It's a triple header weekend in Vegas. For the trucks and cup, the playoffs are on, and we will soon crown a regular season champ in the Xfinity Series. So let's take a look at the playoffs leaderboard right now. Of course, Justin Haley has that win, and he has the bye into the next round. But when you look a little back farther in the field, when it gets to Matt Crafton, Stuart Friesen, Ben Rhodes, guys, we are talking about a difference of 1 point right there. It is very tight, but is it a surprise when you look at Justin Haley on top of the leaderboard?
I'd say it's a big surprise, because Jeff and myself didn't even have him going to the second round in our brackets. We thought he was.
Your brackets are busted.
Well, that's what I get for listening to Todd.
Yeah. So, but it's great for Justin. I'll tell you what, this kid is a great driver. They've had speed, but not consistent speed, and that's why I didn't have him going to the second round. But you have to take advantage of every situation, just like he did up in Canada. Those two got together, and he was right there. He was right with them, and took advantage, got the win, put himself into the playoffs. Now, he's got speed. We'll see how he carries himself through to that next round.
Yeah, the one thing right there I'm going to say real quick, always expect the unexpected, especially when it comes to racing. That's the reason why we had to run the race before we can declare a winner. We can't use numbers and records from past to present. It's just one of those kind of deals. And right now, for everybody, with the exception of Justin, you know, you got to feel a little bit concerned about where you are. I mean, you've got to go out and race smart here on out and not make any mistakes. And tonight's race here at Vegas, as crazy and wild as it could be, it could wind up costing somebody an opportunity to move on to that next round and then eventually into Homestead.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, when you're looking at 1 point, you're also looking at 1 position on the racetrack, and that's how tight this battle really is right now.
It really is. Those 3 are right there, 1 point apart, and Enfinger's only 12 back, so let's not count him out. So I think those 4 guys have got to race each other for these next 2 races and try to get into the next round.
So what happens if Enfinger wins tonight? It changes everything.
Yeah, exactly. And it is go time. Now, the trucks have been coming to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for over 20 years, and while ThorSport Racing General Manager David Pepper has been to almost every one, the race this weekend will be special.
Pepper, it comes to mind like he's my spotter, so he's like monotone.
Hey, Pep. It's awesome you made it 500 consecutive starts. I didn't think you'd last that long, but congrats on doing it. Maybe you'll make another 500.
Ben told me he was 2 or 3 or something like that when I started this streak, and that really makes you feel old. As a young man, I mean, I loved NASCAR racing and followed it. I was a fan, just like everybody else. The Truck Series has always been a love of mine. It's been great racing, great people, fun.
He's been part of this series, I mean, just about as long as anybody, I'd say. Pretty cool. He's our spotter, and he's a big part of ThorSport Racing.
And it's the relationships that you've built over the years. That's what makes it fun. I think that's what makes me come back every single week and look forward to coming back every single week.
I think it just speaks volumes about the type of character he is and how loyal he is to his team and his people.
There's a lot of people that I don't think I probably would be here at 500 if it wasn't for all those people and all those relationships along the way, making it really fun to do and just the dream job.
Yeah, and you think he hit it right on the nose, though, when he said it takes people. People is the thing, are the things that make the team really go around and really work. And guys, if we didn't have people like David Pepper, we wouldn't have these race teams.
Yeah, you know, I was very fortunate to get to know Pepper pretty well when I raced at ThorSport. He's a great guy. First, he's very passionate about racing and very passionate about that race team, and he's very intelligent. He understands racing. He understands the team and how to run the team. You know, it could be David Pepper racing, but Duke Thurston spends the money. David runs the deal. Great guy. I was very fortunate and very glad to get to know him.
You know, people like him is what makes this sport so great. Once again, you go back and how do you hang around in a series like this as long as he has, unless you did love what you were doing. It's always great when you're able to recognize somebody's accomplishment like that. 500 races, that's a lot.
And the passion, too. Well, Pepper may have fudged it a little bit when his streak started back in 1998. His ThorSport racing driver, Ben Rhodes, had not yet turned 1 year old yet, not 2 or 3. Now, Rhodes is competing for his first Truck Series championship, but he's going to have to overcome a season of bad luck to do it.
Be the justification for our season. It would mean the world to my team, my crew. It'd be the first championship for every single person on my team. You know, the big thing for ThorSport Racing is we just became part of Ford Performance, and it would just validate our whole season. It would be such a strong effort, and it would just make us all even more like family than we already are. Everybody's been working so hard that it'd be a really nice reward. It'd be the shot in the arm that they need to work even harder over the offseason to build even faster F-150s, so when 2019 comes around, we're even more lethal than we are right now.
So we know Ben Rhodes and his team, we know they can do it, but the question is, will they be able to do it, Todd?
Well, we'll find out, but the thing about the 41 team is they have the speed to be in the championship 4 in Homestead. I really believe that. Ben's driving has been phenomenal this year. I think his driving is top caliber to be in that championship 4. And Eddie Triconis has done a great job with this team all year long. And the thing that's kept them down, kept them pulled back once in a while is their bad luck. Now, hopefully they got all that out of their system and they can go down there and get themselves to Homestead and be in that championship 4.
Yeah, I agree with him. This organization, this team, and this driver combination, they can be a lethal weapon. And they can also be a lethal weapon to themselves because, in my opinion, that's the one thing that's held them back all year long, is they beat themselves several times that they didn't need to. Yes. So if they can get that out of their system over these next few races, anything's possible.
Yep, can't have those mistakes, and especially not now because this is Las Vegas. On the line tonight is a trip into the next round of the playoffs and one step closer to the championship. So we had such a great race last time around at this racetrack. Guys, do you think we're going to see the same thing tonight?
Absolutely. You know, we got guys racing for the championship. They want to win their way into that next round. And then we got a lot of guys that aren't in this championship race that all they got left is to win. That's all they need. So we got a lot of guys trying to win a race.
You know, we haven't talked a whole lot about Matt Crafton. We haven't talked any about Johnny Sauter. And these two veterans, you know, they're going to get tired of us not, you know, talking about everybody else and not them. So tonight, you better watch out for these wily old veterans right now making some noise and trying to go for this win to put themselves into the next round.
Yeah, and the best way to make that noise is to win. And when you do that, once again, it's a trip into the next round. You won't be eliminated. Now, if you're on the East Coast in the line of the hurricane in the Carolinas, please be safe, everybody. We're thinking about you. And coming up next, it's Racing from Vegas after the break.
Good evening and welcome to Las Vegas. Perfect location for a big event, and tonight the bright lights will shine on the stars of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. It's playoff race number 2, and the playoffs got off to a bit of a surprising start with Justin Haley coming through the cloud of smoke and winning at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. He's the only one that has secured his spot advancing on to the next round. Who's it going to be? Will one of these others secure their position in the round of 6 with a victory tonight? Maybe former winner Johnny Sauter or maybe Noah Gragson. 8 drivers have won from Vegas from the pole, and Gragson will start from the pole tonight. Meanwhile, some troubles for Matt Crafton and Ben Rhodes. Lots of drama already before we've even dropped the green flag tonight. Let's go downstairs trackside for pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please rise and remove your hats as the Nellis Air Force Base Honor Guard presents our nation's colors. And please remain standing as Billy Malden, MRO Chaplain, offers tonight's invocation.
Let's pray. Gracious God and Heavenly Father, as we rise up tonight, Lord, we do so grateful for the opportunities and the freedoms we enjoy. So we pray and I'll ask your blessings upon the men and women of our armed forces, both here at home and abroad, as well as their families. Just watch over them, keep them safe. We pray for these drivers and the teams and officials. Just give them a great, safe night of racing. For the fans, let tonight be full of wonderful memories. And may your peace and may your presence be with us all. It's in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Here to honor America with the singing of our national anthem from Sexy the Show by Jennifer Romas at Westgate, Las Vegas. Please welcome Gabriella Versace.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Race fans, make some.
The fans are ready, and so are the drivers. 8 playoff combatants getting ready to do battle in Vegas. Playoff race number 2. Place your bets. The mountains, the desert, the heat, it's Las Vegas and the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Fans appreciate it. The drivers are ready to roll. Playoff race number 2 from Las Vegas coming up. And the time is now. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is racing in Las Vegas for the 23rd time. Championship hopes hang in the balance. It's the second race of the playoffs. Picture perfect conditions. Been sunny and hot all day long. A beautiful evening along with Michael Waltrip and Phil Parsons. I'm Vince Welch. Well, a playoff opener in Canada, Mike, it provided a lot of drama. I can't imagine that we should expect anything else tonight, should we?
The intensity, Vince, has just cranked up. Look at this finish. It's Noah Gragson versus Todd Gilliland. And you know what that equals when they come together? Justin Haley. He went to victory lane and some hurt feelings in the Kyle Busch Motorsports team. That's what the playoffs do. They ratchet everything up. These guys know how important every position is. and Noah Gregson's going to start from the pole and hopes to stay there all night. But Phil, this track's going to be hot, slick. It's going to be difficult.
It is, but Michael, we saw such great racing here. Todd Bodine said during race day, this was one of the best truck races that he's ever seen, and I agree. Look at this racing all night long, 3 wide, lap after lap after lap. Nobody could ever get away from anybody. But remember, there's a big difference between that race and this race, about 30 degrees of temperature and maybe 40 degrees of track temperature. These guys are going to have their hands full here trying to get these trucks hooked up, but we fully expect the racing to be just like it was in the spring.
The big draft is going to keep them close and keep it fun, that's for sure. Let's get the command to fire those engines.
And now, race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome tonight's Grand Marshal, the Vice President of Race and Sports at Westgate's world-famous Superbook, Jay Cornegay.
Drivers, start your engines.
Gotta believe they're feeling some nerves right now. What started in Canada continues in the glitz of Vegas. The playoffs now. How about that 88 of Matt Crafton?
What a great job Matt Crafton has done.
Coming to the line for the stage win, Grant Enfinger. 5th stage win of the season for Stuart Friesen. Rhodes wins at home in Kentucky.
Noah Gragson will see the checkered flag, and Noah Gragson wins.
Side by side at the line, it's Brett Moffitt. He's done it again.
Johnny Sauter will be regular season champion.
Johnny Sauter will win. What a great sight. The trucks rolling off pit lane as they get ready to line up, and we get ready for playoff race number 2. It's going to be exciting tonight. We had a terrific race here in the spring, and the draft is going to play such an important role. And Mike, I love Ben Rhodes earlier today said Vegas is like the Talladega of the West because of the draft that they'll run in tonight.
Yeah, check this Camping World track description out. You can see it's a 1.5 miles. The progressive banking in the corners, the grip is up high, it seems, and these guys can run all over this racetrack. 9 degrees on the back straightaway. This is built for speed, and we're going to see a lot of it tonight, Phil.
Let's take a look at our race analysis. This race is broken up into 3 stages. Our stages are 30, 30, and the final stage 74 laps. You see this race is 134 laps long, and our pit window is somewhere between 50 and 55. We will have a pit stop in that last stage.
Starting lineups tonight, Noah Gragson led all the drivers in qualifying earlier this afternoon, and I tell you what, Gragson has been a master of qualifying. 5 pole awards for Gragson, and KBM has really dominated at the 1.5 miles. But how about Chris Eggleston? Great job qualifying on the 2nd row.
Yeah, Riley Herbst back in row number 3, local Las Vegas native Riley Herbst.
Row 4 is stout too. Brandon Jones, John Hunter Nemechek, both of those guys can go to victory lane.
Todd Gilliland nearly won the opener at Canada. Justin Haley did win. Timothy Peters with GMS. Good to see him back in the field.
See Cody Coughlin back there in row number 8 along with the top 10 finish. Austin Hill from Canada.
Ola Mastis with a top 20 starting position. Ben Rhodes will be going to the back. He's one of our championship contenders.
Austin Theriault making his first start of the season.
Another Las Vegas native, TJ Bell, in row number 12.
Ross Chastain doing triple duty this weekend, running the truck, the Xfinity car for Chip Ganassi in the 42 and the Cup car as well.
Look at Matt Crafton. A lot of questions around that team. Have they got that truck squared away? Will it have speed to run toward the front?
32 trucks lined up, getting ready to roll, and a couple of them going to provide us with some interesting looks.
Yeah, this is the Ford on board for Ben Rhodes. This is the Carolina Nut Ford. He was supposed to start in the 18th position, but due to unapproved adjustments, Ben Rhodes will have to start from the back of the pack. Our winner from last year, but he's going to carry that visor cam. What a great view we're going to have from Ben Rhodes all night long.
You're going to see how rough this track is and all he's going to be faced with. We're also going to ride along with Cody Coughlin. He's going to start from the 15th position in the God Bless the Broken Road Chevy.
Of course, that movie just came out last week. Great family film. If you haven't had an opportunity to see it, encourage you to do so. And Coughlin has a cameo in that, a little racing theme to it as well. Our pit reporters are Caitlin Vincey and Hermie Sadler. We'll begin with Hermie.
Well, thank you, Vince. Rudy, the first playoff race on the road course in Canada, you come to the final corner, your trucks are 1-2, they make contact, you end up 9th and 11th. What role did you have to play to put that behind it for your race team so you guys with the 18 team could chase a championship?
Yeah, just I think it's my job to get everybody together and get the big picture, which is we didn't want that to happen, but the big picture is how we get over it, you know, and how we move on for our teams, our families, our sponsors, our manufacturer, and race the rest of the year, win races with Todd, win the championship with Noah. So getting over that as quick as we could was the key, and I think we're there. I think we're ready to win tonight, and Todd's ready to win too. So it's what we need.
Big rebound for the 18. They start P1 tonight. Caitlin?
Well, Hermie, Junior Joyner calls the shots for Matt Crafton on top of the box. Not the qualifying effort you had hoped for. What was your process going through that truck following qualifying?
We just had to check everything out, make sure we didn't do something wrong, you know. So I don't know, maybe I just missed it on the adjustments or whatever, but we got a really good Menards F-150. Hooked up with Roush Yates boys this weekend, and Matt's really happy with the steam. Everything's gone so well. It's kind of a bummer, but he promised me top 10 in 10 laps, so I'm gonna hold him to that.
A lofty goal there for Matt Crafton. Vince?
Yeah, well, that's to our benefit. All of us watching are going to get to see Crafton go to the top 10 that quick. I like his attitude. It's Las Vegas. It's playoff race number 2, and it's green when we come back. One look, and you know that city. It's Las Vegas, and we're getting ready to go green at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And Phil, we were here in March. Quite a different feel in the air tonight.
Vince, we touched on it briefly. The temperature could not be any different. We had temperatures maybe in the low 60s. Let's take a look. 63 degrees was what the temperature was in the spring with that great racing. 98 degrees tonight, 35 degrees difference. But look at that track temperature, Michael. Almost 50 degrees different track temperature. These guys are going to have a slick racetrack, and it's going to be hard to get a hold of.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how they deal with the transition too, Phil. As that sun sets, the track surface will cool down, obviously. Who's going to have a truck that's handling well at the beginning of the race, and how does that change as we race throughout the evening? I think it's going to be a big difference. I think we're still going to see side-by-side racing, but watch for the truck down on the bottom when they're side-by-side to get loose. That's easy to have happen to you. You lose downforce when you're down on the bottom. We'll see who can hang on and who can't.
Well, you saw the flags blowing in the wind there as they came through turn 3. Got a nice breeze tonight. Low humidity, but it is warm, but it's going to be beautiful. Sunsets in about 30 minutes. It's playoff race number 2. Last 12 races at Las Vegas, 12 different winners. Who's it going to be tonight? Noah Gragson, the pole winner, leads us to green in Vegas. Not wasting any time, go 3 wide and through turn 1 and 2. Riley Herbst in the 46, John Hunter Nemechek in the 8. Everybody fighting for position while Noah Gragson has taken the point.
Ronnie Sauter stuck in the middle, the blue and white number 21 of that 3 wide battle.
First lap belongs to Gragson.
Look how strong that 98 truck is down on the bottom. Grant Enfinger looking for that second position.
Enfinger's had some really good runs here in Las Vegas. They brought a lot of confidence into this race. Matt Crafton already on the move. Remember, as crew chief Junior Joyner said, he wants to be in the top 10 in 10 laps, and he is going, and there's contact up on the wall. That's the 20 of Tanner Thorson.
The 13 of Mike Snyder got loose, and Tanner Thorson moved up the racetrack to give him some extra room and slammed the wall coming off of 4.
Yeah, he needs to get that truck to pit road. It'll blow that right front tire. His night's done. That's a lot of damage.
Thorson getting down, everybody trying to avoid him.
Coming off a couple top 15 finishes in a row.
Outstanding driver from the USAC ranks. A tough way to get his night started as Todd Gilliland and that 4-truck moves in front of Sauter, and that caution is out. Fluid on the track and some heavy fire inside the 20 truck, and Thorson wasting no time getting out of that. Well, and you can see his disappointment and the anger, I think, coming from underneath the helmet of Tanner Thorson for his night to be finished.
I think it was just a reaction. We saw the 13 of Myatt Snyder get a little bit loose. Thorson just moved up just to give him a little bit more room. Let's take another look at it. This is already after the 13 had gotten loose. Thorson had committed to the top side and ran out of racetrack.
Yeah, and it just happened so quickly, Phil. These trucks are running over 175 miles an hour, and when one of them gets sideways, your first reaction is to dodge him, to go somewhere where he isn't. That reaction got Thorson up out of the groove, and he slid into the outside wall.
So Tanner Thorson, who is making his 6th start of the season, done already.
You can see fluid from behind that truck, so definitely probably broke an oil line or something like that when he got into the outside wall.
And how dejecting is that for that young man? You said it, Bill. A couple of good runs here in the truck this year. Just getting started tonight, wanting to learn, wanting to compete and contend. Already going to be on the trailer.
Ben Rhodes had to start at the back for unapproved adjustments, and he got busy right away.
Well, you get this far back in the pack, you never know what's going to happen, but he jumps to the outside of Jordan Anderson. Look at that pile of trucks in front of him. He's going to just drive right around him on the outside. Austin Wainsell, that 22 on the left. Wow.
Yeah, guys, the 41 of Ben Rhodes, one of our championship contenders, had to start at the rear of the field, and the team did not really know why. They lost about 300 RPMs in qualifying from where they were in practice yesterday. So they pulled the axles out of the 41. They checked the rear end housing. They went under the hood, changed the coil, put plugs in, anything they could do preventative measure-wise to try to get this 41 back up to speed. I just went down to the 41 pit. Crew Chief Eddie Traconis gave me the thumbs up. They think so far the 41 is back up to full song.
Well, and his teammate Matt Crafton's got to be pretty happy as well. Remember, his crew chief Junior Joyner said that Crafton told him he'd be top 10 by lap 10. Well, he's 6 laps. He sits 12th. Got to be pretty happy in that 88 cam. Still a lot of work to be done early here at Vegas. Hey, on Sunday, it's a great slate of NFL action headlined by an NFC North rivalry. Kirk Cousins and the Vikings at Lambeau Field taking on the Packers and maybe Aaron Rodgers. It's only on Fox. See it on the Fox Sports app. Check local listings for the game in your area.
I'm going to be watching that Panther-Falcon game Sunday, Vince.
Pretty big win for the Panthers to open things up.
Yes, it was.
I want to see if Aaron can do it again on one foot. That big comeback victory he had Sunday night.
You saw the dust there, almost like we were at the dirt track the other night, the K&N race. A lot of people up in arms about how dusty that was out here in Las Vegas. You get that out here in the desert.
There's a lot of dust out here.
Let's check in with Caitlin.
Well, guys, I was just listening into the 98 radio of Grant Enfingers. Dropped a little bit down on the leaderboard, telling the team, I feel like I might have a small vibration similar to what I experienced yesterday in practice. His crew chief, Jeff Hensley, saying, well, don't take chances. If it gets bad enough, bring it down pit road, guys.
Well, certainly Grant Enfinger cannot afford any sort of hiccup tonight as he comes into the race. 8th out of 8 in the playoff standings, and remember, only the top 6 advance to the next round, of course, after Talladega, our next race.
Yeah, I'm sure they changed tires, and that vibration must have persisted through the tire change, and so it could be a driveline issue, but it's certainly something that if it gets worse, you would be worried about a loose wheel. And with stage racing, if they have to make an unscheduled pit stop and come in and change tires under green, they're going to lose a lap, but there's a chance with the brakes in the race that they can get back in the game. Obviously, that wheel comes loose and they hit the wall, it's over, and he can't afford that.
But at this time, you just worry about every little thing.
Oh, totally. Yes. Especially for these playoff contenders, Vince. Take a look at this. I was watching this when we were looking at him, and it looked like there was some debris that flies up over the top of the 98 truck. See right there?
Is that just a piece of
Looks like a
tape?
piece of plastic. Did it
Yeah.
maybe some plastic or something like that?
That bare bond stuff gets, you know, it's pretty substantial, and it can float through the air
Pretty
like
thick,
that.
a lot
Yeah.
thicker than normal tape.
Yes, sir.
Well, the cleanup continues after the accident involving Tanner Thorson and putting some fluid down on the track, so they're cleaning that up. We hope to go green when we come back to Las Vegas. Hey, you know, 5 different drivers have scored their first career win here at Las Vegas. David started it in 2002. Shane Meal a couple of years later, 2004. Johnny Sauter, his first career win.
Yeah, 22 career wins now, Vince.
Remember the night John West Townley shocked him here in Vegas. And just a year ago, Ben Rhodes got his first career win under the bright lights. So who do you like? I tell you, I loved him here last time. I thought he was good enough to win. I think Friesen's the guy tonight to get his first win.
That's a good pick, but I don't think you can look over Todd Gilliland. We saw in the open of the show how close he was to grabbing the victory up in Canada. That truck's been really solid in practice yesterday. I think Todd Gilliland in that Ford truck goes to victory lane tonight.
How about that 51 truck that's right in front of Todd Gilliland? That's Brandon Jones. He's a 3-time runner-up in the series, a regular in the Xfinity Series. Just runs a handful of races here, but I think he has the truck to do it tonight.
Of course, Jones and Gilliland both out of the Kyle Busch stable, and KBM had all 4 of their trucks in the top 12 in qualifying. Did a great job. Riley Herbst, the teenager from here in Vegas, is in the 46 for KBM this week.
We can't agree on anything. 3 different guys there we think are going to be first-time winners, and I think all 3 of those are solid trucks tonight and could possibly go to victory lane.
I think maybe that guy in the 18, that young man in the 18, might have something to say about that.
Hey, does Gregson have something to prove tonight after what happened in Canada and the way that race ended?
I think a little bit.
Yeah, certainly. He was in a position. I didn't have a problem with the dive bomb. He got inside, but what he had to do was not spin his truck. That was what he did wrong. He looped around, and that was a mistake, and he knows it. The team seems to have put that behind them. They're focused on tonight, and there's no way better to make it up to your guys than driving to victory lane, and I think that's exactly what he's thinking.
Do you trust the guy, even if he is your quote-unquote teammate, a little less, though, after that? I mean, is there a little less trust between Gregson and Gilliland now?
Well, there might be for a while till they get to racing around each other, and they're close now. They're only separated by 1 row, so they may get that opportunity here tonight. And if we have the racing like we saw in the spring, they're going to get that opportunity to race around each other.
That just makes it a little more fun, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
absolutely.
Oh, we've got so much to watch. So many developments before this one's over tonight. The track's cooling down a little bit right now. That's going to help the grip. This could be an intense restart.
How about Matt Crafton jumped 19 spots in the first 4.5 laps of green flag racing before the caution came out. He did not waste any time. The cleanup is complete, and we're back to racing in Las Vegas.
Look at Gilliland jump to the outside and make it 3 wide.
Friesen in the middle with Brandon Jones on the bottom. Jones jumps up to take second, but he's got company.
Look at that bright yellow truck on the bottom, Matt Crafton. He's charging up toward the top 5 as he dives into turn 3.
Wow, Crafton makes the move and slips inside of Enfinger, and Crafton has come all the way from the last row and is now sitting in the 6th spot.
Well, he promised Junior Joyner he would do that.
It wasn't his fault that the caution flag came out. He couldn't do it on his own by lap 10.
John Hunter Nemechek there in the top 5 in that 8 truck. Starting to sort themselves out a little bit as they come through that speedy dry and down the backstretch. Crafton taking a look under the 21 of Johnny Sauter.
You can see Sauter really slipping up the hill there. That's a product of the hot, slippery track. These trucks just don't handle as well when it's hot like it is, and especially when you're in traffic like Sauter is now.
Just about every person that I talked to in the garage area, guys, when I said, who's the best truck? Every one of them said the 21. They may have added a couple other trucks with it, but everyone had the 21 on their list.
For second, Stuart Friesen in the 52. Gilliland in the 4. John Hunter Nemechek right behind him's got a great view of it. Friesen has been runner-up 3 times this season. Hasn't been able to get to that top step.
And that's a real hard pass to complete when you're just dead down on the bottom of the racetrack, Vince. You need to be able to slide up, exiting the corner. Friesen couldn't do that, and that's going to open the door for John Hunter Nemechek and that 8 truck to take the 3rd spot away.
How much momentum do you lose when you try to make that move but can't complete it?
You saw it there. It can cost you even not only the place spot you were going for, but multiple ones after that. And, you know, it takes a little bit to get rebounded and get the thing wound back up. And you see Friesen has done a nice job. He's in line, and he can go back and attack again.
Halfway through stage 1.
I think every bit of at least a half a lap to recover when you have a loss of momentum, maybe even a lap in some cases.
That's why you'll see these drivers, especially the experienced ones, like John Hunter Nemechek, who's run a lot of these races, they'll start to look around up top because it's easier to complete a pass if you can swing around the high side, as you see Nemechek doing there. You don't lose your momentum when you go up there.
Gregson has led them all so far as Nemechek completes the pass for 2nd, and now Friesen coming along aside Todd Gilliland looking for 3rd.
Look at the way Gilliland was able to hang on, use the draft off Nemechek, and shut the door on Friesen. That was a great example of John Hunter going around the top and keeping his engine wound up and able to complete that pass.
Battle for the 8th position. Johnny Sauter has 8th. Matt Kraft on the 88 trying to take it from him.
How many times have we said Johnny Sauter and Matt Crafton battling? They're doing it again here.
Watch Sauter just run out of space here up top.
Oh,
definitely made some contact with the outside safer barrier.
Got to get the attention of crew chief Joe Shear when his driver's banging the wall this early in the race. Remember, he is 2nd in the standings, but can't afford a disastrous race tonight when you've got Talladega coming up next as Matt Crafton has to make a big save.
Johnny was so close to him, it just sucked the back of that 88 truck around. And this is a perfect case of the momentum that Matt's going to lose. He's going to do a nice job jumping up in the draft of Johnny Sauter to maybe not lose another spot.
And there has Ben Rhodes right behind his teammate Crafton. Those two started in the back row, and they have made their way inside the top 10.
Coughlin was down on the bottom, lost a little bit of his momentum. As he exits turn 4, can he move up? But no, Timothy Peters in that 25 truck comes around the outside.
10 laps remaining in stage 1 here in Las Vegas. Had an early yellow because of an incident involving Tanner Thorson. Otherwise, it has been mean and green. Not much room being given.
There goes Coughlin. He's going to look to the bottom. Haven't seen very many people be able to complete the pass down on the bottom, but Cody does a nice job of running hard down in the corner, moving up and taking the spot away.
Timothy may have given him a break as well. Both trucks coming out of the GMS stables. See, Brett Moffitt moves to the inside of the 13 of Myatt Snyder to try to take over the 13th position.
Matt Crafton runs 9th. Caitlin?
Yeah, well, we've been talking about his march towards the front of the field and talking with his crew chief, Junior Joyner, about that 29 race winless streak that this driver is on right now. He said he knows he has to be more aggressive than ever. He said, right now I feel like we are pretty much out of excuses as far as our performance goes. He says we are trying harder than ever, but the results have just not shown it. But he said he felt really good about this truck right as it unloaded off of the truck. So they felt good about the speed. Obviously, qualifying a bit of an unknown for them, but so far they have been making their way through the field. Also saying they have tons of family and friends, both for driver and crew chief here. Those guys being from nearby California, a win here would be big for them today. Hermie.
Well, Caitlin, as Phil Parsons mentioned, Johnny Sauter was at the top of everybody's list after practice as to who do you have to outrun to win this race. But so far tonight, his truck is way too tight, especially on exit of the corner. He is on the splitter really bad entering turn 1. So as this track temperature has dropped and the grip has increased, the handling is getting worse on the 21.
And Hermie, I'm going to tell you, hitting the outside wall doesn't help the handling of your truck in any way at all. Losing side force off that right rear, that could be a part of his issues as well. But you could see he's able to close up and battle for that position closed right up on the back of Justin Haley in the 24, and they've got Grant Enfinger pinched down to the bottom.
And they chased that group down, too. So Johnny Sauter's truck now is running better. He was the second fastest truck on the racetrack that last lap.
Remember, we were here in March. Sauter's truck was too loose throughout much of the race, and then it came to him late in the race, and he was coming strong. Ended up finishing second to Kyle Busch, but he had a bad, fast truck at the end of that race in March.
And you know what? The move he's making now, the speed he has after bouncing off the ball, that helps the crew chief, Joe Shear Jr., so much. He knows he doesn't have to worry about the damage as much. He just needs an adjustment for Sauter, and hopefully that'll be the difference maker.
These two are going to get tired of one another before it's all said and done. Big wiggle from Gilliland as he was side by side with Nemechek, and that's going to cost him another spot as Friesen tries to make the move and does get around the 4.
And with just a handful of laps to go, just 4 laps to go on this stage points are on the line here. Every one of these teams is chasing points. Stage points count. Every one of these guys, with the exception of Justin Haley, who already knows that he's into the next round, need these stage points.
And that's why Haley has that green widget next to his number. He is already locked into the next round. If you've got a yellow widget next to your position, well, you're in on points as we currently run. But if you're red like Enfinger there in that 98, that means you're on the outside looking in. Remember, only 6 drivers advance to the next round, but we've still got this one to finish and then go to the, Talladega. Going to be fun there.
And that's why everybody wants to collect as many points here as they can, because they know what an unknown Talladega is.
You're not counting on anything at Talladega.
Nothing, nothing. Just a good time on Talladega Boulevard is all you can count on.
Amen to that. Here comes Nemechek, but no challenge for Gregson. Gregson 4 seconds out front. 2 to go here in this first stage. Pits are closed. Gregson has led them all so far.
We talk about that 4-second lead for Gregson. At the end of the race, the top 4 finishers were only separated by less than a second here in the spring. That's how good that 18 truck is.
Yeah, and you can tell John Hunter's holding up Friesen here just a bit. He could probably get to the outside and try that line. Get a little bit more momentum off the turn.
Final lap here in stage 1. That's the difference in the lead between Gregson and second place John Hunter Nemechek. Nemechek's got his mirrors full of the 52 of Stuart Friesen. Gilliland behind Friesen, and then it's Brandon Jones. 3 KBM trucks in the top 5. Gregson bringing it home. It's going to be his 10th stage win of the season. Noah Gregson takes stage 1 at his hometown in Las Vegas. The early stages haven't been the problem for Gregson. It's closing the deal at the end of the race that's been the challenge. Will tonight be any different? He's off to a good start. It's been a dominating performance by that 18 truck, piloted by Las Vegas native Noah Gregson. He's led them all so far, collects the stage 1 win. And we talked a lot at the beginning of the show about the draft, how big it was when we were here in March, as you see the points break down from stage 1. Seemed like we've seen quite as much pack racing tonight in the draft as we anticipated.
It's a coming. It's going to get more and more intense, and they're going to be drafting 2 and 3 wide, Vince.
Caitlin Vincey's there as they come to pit road.
Vince, once again, Stuart Friesen is strong on a 1.5 mile racetrack. We have seen that all throughout the course of the year. Just talked to his crew chief, said a little bit tight. They're going to do a track bar adjustment for the 52 and go ahead and just do right side tires only. Herbie.
John Hunter Nemechek needs his truck to turn better through the center of the corner. It's going to be 4 tires and a wedge adjustment on the right rear of the 8. The 18 of Noah Gregson. He likes his truck. The changes they're going to make or to keep up with the racetrack only. It's a wedge adjustment for the 18 of Gregson.
What do you guys think? 4 tires versus 2 tires?
I think these crew chiefs have studied this. They know that the two-tire call can give them the performance that they need. We haven't seen a whole lot of fall off in the lap times really throughout that first stage, so I like it.
And I think we're going to see a great example here because Matt Crafton is on 4 tires. So these crew chiefs are going to get a good gauge on 2 tires versus 4 tires. Then they can adjust maybe at the end of the second stage.
It's the same left side tire as the teams ran in Vegas in March. It's a little different right side tire. Restart when we return. Back here in Las Vegas, stage 1 complete, getting ready to roll on stage 2. So a variety of teams taking 2, some took 4.
That's why the competitors love this stage racing so much, Vince, and the fans alike, because the strategies get so mixed up. Guys try to pull out a play of their playbook that can get them track position, get them in a spot to be up near the front. We saw that during this caution with 2-tire strategy. Even a couple guys didn't take tires, just some gas.
I want to see what happens with Matt Crafton. He's the lead truck right now that took 4 tires on that pit stop. We're going to get a good example of whether 2 is better than 4 or 4 is better than 2 or not. And these crew chiefs can adjust when it comes to the end of the second stage. And we know there's going to be a pit stop in the final stage, in that final 74 lap stage. So it'll be interesting to see what these guys may choose to do then.
So as Phil mentioned, Friesen, Gregson, and Gilliland, the top 3, took 2 tires on that stop, and Matt Crafton, who sits 4th, is the first in the group to have taken 4. You know, we were talking a little bit before the pit stops about the draft and how it was such a big part of the race in March. Haven't quite seen that here in this race, but Mike, as the sun is now setting here in Las Vegas, you think as the track cools, it's going to bring the draft more into play?
It certainly will. Anytime you can run wide open all the way around the track, that's when the draft works the best. And these guys were probably slipping off the gas a little bit because of the heat in the track. Just got a report from pit road, still 112-degree track temperature. I think as the sun sets here in the desert, that will fall dramatically quite quickly. And I think that's when the action will heat up for these guys.
Take a look at our Ford facts here in Las Vegas. Shelby American moved to Nevada in 1998, becoming the first automobile manufacturer in Nevada. How about that, Shelby cars? I'd like to have one.
Me too.
You could add to that total.
I would be gladly be 14,916.
Yeah, that's right on the grounds of the racetrack here. The industrial part of the complex has Shelby American.
Stage 2 getting ready to roll. Pace car will pull off, and Stuart Friesen will be the control vehicle. Noah Gregson right beside him there in that 18 truck has been the dominant truck so far, but we'll see what he can do this time around as Friesen takes the green, has Todd Gilliland right behind him. Grant Infinger dipping down on the bottom below the 21 of Sauter. Trying to make a move, and it's Crafton around the outside in the Neon 88.
Look at that wide of trucks there, Vince.
Wow.
4 wide.
Some big hitters in some dangerous positions as they came 3 wide through the corner there, but Friesen sorts it out in front with Infinger right behind him, and Todd Gilliland 3rd, and there's Crafton 4th. Still a gaggle in the pack.
Big Gregson's back to the 5th position. Remember, he had clean air from the drop of the green flag. Now he has some trucks. He's in some traffic as we ride along with Cody Coughlin.
You could hear Coughlin off the gas as he exited the corner there in 2. That's just the turbulent air that's upsetting the handling of that truck. And these guys are really battling up ahead there, not only to try to grab positions, but to hang on to their trucks. They want to be really loose down on the bottom of the track.
But Johnny Sauter's dropped all the way outside the top 10, guys.
Did he get into the outside wall there, Phil? Looked like as he is coming through the tri-oval, maybe the wall again. Look at this battle for the lead.
Grant Infinger and Stuart Friesen. Infinger in the 98. Finished 4th here in the spring. Said he thought they had a truck that could win it here in Las Vegas. Really likes the track here.
Remember, he comes in there 8th seed. He's got to make something happen here.
And Matt Crafton's not in much better shape than him, just a point to the good And you can see both those trucks are right there at the front battling for the lead.
Enfinger restarted 7th. He's now in front. Gregson in the 18, right behind his teammate Todd Gilliland. Anytime those two are going to run close to one another, want to keep an eye on it after their history last time out.
You mentioned that about 15 minutes ago, Vince, and here we are.
Friesen now back to the front as he and Enfinger have swapped leads, and here comes Matt Crafton.
That's got to be such a confidence booster for Matt Crafton. It's been a bit of a struggle. You talked about the winless streak. Not a whole lot of time near the front of the pack either, and now he's going somewhere tonight.
Well, he gets really, one thing I've noticed is when he's stuck on the bottom with another truck close to him, he gets a little bit loose. He got loose that time with Enfinger on his outside.
Crafton has just one win in his last 57 races, and you know, the mile and a half for so long was right there in his wheelhouse, but he hasn't won a mile and a half race since Charlotte in 2016. He is long overdue, and you don't have to tell him or his crew chief, Junior Joyner, that. They are well aware.
How about that 97, that blue truck of Jesse Little? I haven't mentioned Jesse. Limited schedule for this team out of Sherrills Ford, North Carolina, but always bring a competitive truck to the racetrack. Jesse's done an outstanding job this year.
Going to run 4 of the final 6 races.
Yeah, he about spun out in qualifying, started deep in the pack. Another one of our big movers.
He's picked up 16 positions since the start.
Speaking of the 16, Brett Moffitt running 13th, Hermie.
It's been a struggle since the drop of the green flag for the 16. And a couple different issues. Vince, they pulled tape off the grill of that 16 when he came down pit road because the water temperature was showing 260 degrees. But now they think it may be a water temperature gauge issue. So they're monitoring that on the 16. On top of that, the truck is really way too tight, will not turn. They put 4 tires, pulled a spring rubber out of the left rear, and made a wedge adjustment. All that on one pit stop for the 16.
Yeah, taking a pretty big swing at it.
I'm going to tell you, Hermie, that's a lot of adjustments for a team to make. That just tells you what kind of shape Moffitt's truck was in. I think it's improved, Phil. He's turning some better lap times and moving up toward the front.
Caution is out. Turn 4. Bringing him to a 17 look at Bo Lamastus. Has gotten into the wall hard.
You can see the right front tire is down. Whether that's was the cause of this contact or the tire got cut after he hit the wall, but that's pretty significant damage to that 17.
Yeah, it sure is.
Bo, one of the owners of this team, along with David Gilliland, was running 28th at the time of the contact.
I think he's going to take that right back to the garage.
I was going to say, they didn't even bother putting a jack under it. So Lamastus does make that left-hand turn, going to the garage. We'll have a restart when we return. The sun has set. Beautiful Sunrise Mountains, the base of Nellis Air Force Base. The lights are on here in Las Vegas, and a little bit of a strategy play maybe, or a pit stop out of necessity for the 4 of Todd Gilliland. Hermie's got the answer.
Marcus Richmond is the crew chief. You guys, one of the only leaders to come down pit road. Why?
Yeah, we don't have nothing to lose here. We're not racing for stage points, so might as well gamble a little bit and see if we can get this JBL Tundra a win tonight.
It's Marcus Richmond, strategy play for the 4.
I think it's a great move. He can make this race on one more stop. Everybody else in the field, I think, would have to stop twice. They may be able to stretch it, but they're going to want tires. Marcus Richmond told me this morning that without a doubt, he would pit if he got an opportunity before the end of the second stage to get track position.
He put 2 tires on the first stop, and then he came in on this stop under caution and put on 4, made a chassis adjustment as well. So when they take the green, there will be 11 to go in stage 2. And that blue truck leading the way is Stuart Friesen with Grant Enfinger in the 98 right next to him.
Matt Crafton with a big push to the back of Friesen. You can see it propelled him out ahead of that outside line.
Enfinger got a push from Gregson, and now Gregson looks at the high line and ducks right back in behind the 98 of Infinger.
Well, they sure get 3 wide on these restarts quick, don't they?
Look at Jesse Little in that 97 truck. We talked about him. He's battling up near the top 5. Look at him bob and weave, though. Trucks are loose down on the bottom.
Not much room in that top 6.
Infinger's going to make the move around the outside. Had a good run. Got his nose up beside Friesen exiting turn 4 and may make the pass here.
In 4 races here, Infinger has gotten better each time with his finishing position, and he finished 4th here in the spring. He's back out front with the pass of Friesen, and Crafton came along with the 98.
How about from last to second for Matt Crafton in 50 laps?
Noah Gregson challenging Friesen as well now for 3rd. So Friesen started first on this restart, now finds himself in 4th.
Looks like Noah Gregson's truck is coming alive now. Led the early part of this race to the end of stage number 1. Got back a little bit in traffic the early part of stage 2. Now he's made his way back up to the 3rd spot.
Won that stage by 4.5 seconds. I bet he's thinking, what the heck's going on now? These 2 trucks have been battling fiercely. Coughlin down on the bottom just a lap ago down into turn 3. Is that 4 wide? That's not going to work, Phil.
And it barely, Eggleston said, well, I need that space down on the bottom.
And I just got to tell you, that's a great job by Cody Coughlin. He saw what was coming. He had to get way off the gas. Watch this move he makes. The draft, you asked about it, Vince. It's real and it's live and it's happening here. Watch this truck really pull up. And with the draft, he's able to swoop to the bottom, all the way up beside the 54. But Eggleston comes down. And that's just a great job of driving by both those young men.
It really is. Eggleston really came down like he wasn't even there. Needs a little more help from the spotter, I think.
Coughlin eventually got that spot from Eggleston. There's a look at the back of that truck of Cody Coughlin at Chris Eggleston.
I think Coughlin's got a good truck. That 2's running really well. You can see he's able to pull away from that pack and go race for a top 15 running spot.
Back in 17, Coughlin working with Doug Randolph as his crew chief now for a couple of races after starting the season with Jerry Baxter. Baxter crew chiefing the 25 of Timothy Peters, and there you see Peters in that red and white Chevrolet, and that looks like a problem maybe for Riley Herbst. Saw some smoke come out of the back of that.
He just popped the wall coming off turn 4, Vince.
And I don't know, that's a lot of smoke. Watch how hard he hits the wall off turn 4. Just pushes up. I really think that that'll blow that right front tire out, and indeed it does.
So a problem for Riley Herbst, and that is too bad because he has really had a nice weekend. Really solid in practice yesterday. Good qualifying effort earlier today.
That looked very similar to Tanner Thorson's contact with the outside wall early in the race.
NASCAR's elected to leave the green flag out. Didn't see any debris from the contact from Herbst, so want to be able to finish the stage under green if they can.
And then Crafton gets into the wall as well.
Wow. Things are hard to drive, huh?
They are.
You put them in a pack like that, or just drafting off each other, they just don't want to turn in the corners. And even the best experienced driver like Matt Crafton, we saw Johnny Sauter into the outside wall. It doesn't just happen to the rookies.
Seen a lot of trucks, Michael, make their way up to the top. They're migrating up towards the top of the racetrack. There's another shot of Crafton kissing the wall there off of turn 4.
Just ran out of room.
They need to move that wall up a little bit.
It's in the same place it's always been.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And look, he didn't lose a truck length. He just brushed the wall and kept it wide open and is able to hold off Noah Gregson here with just 3 laps to go in this stage.
It's going to be a solid stage here for Matt Crafton. If he can hold on to second here, he'll get 9 points for this stage.
Chasing his teammate Grant Infinger. And Infinger came into this race in the 8th position of 8 playoff drivers. He needs a big night tonight.
Yes, Vince, he absolutely does. I actually talked to Grant about that exact thing, about how he's on the outside looking into the next round of the playoffs, and he said, I feel like tonight I need to be more aggressive than I've been all season long. Not an act out of desperation, but I don't want to go to Talladega with my back against the wall. So he had a good performance here earlier in the spring in top 5. They brought the same truck, and also they told me a very similar setup as well to what they ran in the spring.
I love the consistency of Enfinger. I mean, just 2 finishes outside the top 15 all season. One of them our last race at Canada, and he was going to be inside the top 15 if he would have been wrecked right at the finish of that one. They've been extremely consistent in running inside the top 10, but they just haven't had winning speed, and that's what they've been missing.
And they might have it tonight. It sure looks good for the 98.
Grant Enfinger closing in on his 4th stage win of the season, and oh, it's so big for him as he tries to climb back in the playoff picture, and he does it. Grant Enfinger. You'll like it if you had a little extra cash on Enfinger on this one. 33-1 odds earlier this week. Smart money on the 98.
It's not.
What a beautiful night in Las Vegas, and it has been great competition so far this evening. Playoff race number 2. Noah Gragson won stage 1. Grant Enfinger has won stage 2, and you see the points accumulated so far this evening.
Yeah, great job by Enfinger and Friesen getting 14 stage points. Matt Crafton getting 12, and Noah Gragson getting 18.
One name you don't see on that list, Brett Moffitt. A bit of a struggle for the 16 team tonight.
Yeah, he was 10th in this stage, so only 1 point gained by Brett Moffitt tonight.
Headed to pit road for stop number 2. Caitlin is there waiting on the group.
Well, Vince, it's been an impressive night for Matt Crafton, starting at the rear, making his way all the way into the top 5. You see him there at the top of your screen, telling the team just a moment ago, I'm free on entry, just a touch. If you could make an adjustment to help on the entry, go ahead and see the right side tires going on. Down below him, Grant Enfinger in the middle of your screen. He says, I'm still just a little bit snug. Don't make any adjustments to the chassis. 4 tires for the 98. Hermie.
Noah Gragson got 2 tires on the last stop. He will get 4 tires on this stop and a wedge adjustment. He likes the balance of his truck just a little on the tight side for the 18. He's down and away.
Well, the 88 had some problems. A slow stop for Matt Crafton. You see losing 6 positions.
Looked like that left front tire didn't get all the lug nuts off at the first pass, then had to regroup and go back at it. You can see how long it takes them right there. And those are precious seconds, losing precious track position. Crafton's done such a great job of fighting to the front. He's going to have to do it again. The later it gets, the tougher that gets.
Saw his tire changer look at that wrench, say something's wrong with my wrench.
Next week, it's the first short track in the playoffs as we head to Richmond. But first, on NASCAR Race Hub, Brad Keselowski, Regan Smith, and Drew Blickensderfer drop by. And we'll head to the shop with DW for another tour of one of his famous rides. That's all next week on NASCAR Race Hub, weeknight 6 p.m. Eastern, only on FS1.
Welcome back to NASCAR Camping World Truck Series action from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Just taking a look at the 88 truck and the guy calling the shots for him, Junior Joyner. Obviously a slow pit stop there for you guys, but based on the speed you have seen in that truck, confident you can still make it to the front?
Absolutely. Our Menards F-150 has been phenomenal all night. Matt's doing a heck of a job. These guys gained us a lot on the first stop, so you win some, you lose some. They'll get us 5 on the next one. We'll be there at the end for sure.
Thanks for your time. Good luck.
We saw the tire changer on that 88, the front tire changer changing out the socket on that gun afterwards, so certainly looked like he had maybe a bit of an equipment issue. Better to have that problem on that stop than the last stop, because everybody has to come one more time. Final stage is underway. Playoff race number 2 in Las Vegas.
Saw that pit strategy by Marcus Richmond and Todd Gilliland. That has Big 4 of Gilliland in the lead with his teammate Gragson right behind him.
Again, the 4 and the 18 together.
Look at Johnny Sauter, that blue and white number 21 lined up on the outside behind the 8 of Nemechek.
Crafton mired in the crowd back there after that slow stop.
3 wide is the norm on these restarts, isn't it?
If not 4.
They tried that.
Crafton lost a half a dozen spots on that restart. Restarted 9th, now finds himself 15th. Meanwhile, at the front, it's Gregson and Gilliland for the lead.
Look at the push. Infinger's going to give to the 18, but no, he tries to take them 3 wide and does.
Grant Infinger on the inside says, I'm going to the front.
How about Grant Infinger? What a great job he's done tonight, racing up front.
Got rid of the 18 of Gregson and is putting the challenge on, and we've got a spinner. It's the 49 going around of Wendell Chavis.
We may be able to stay green if he can get that truck refired.
And he does, Phil. What a great battle we've got at the front. We're going to stay green.
Wow. So Infinger has taken over the lead, and John Hunter Nemechek has come up, and he has grabbed second with Gilliland and the 18 of Gregson fighting for third. It's going to go to Gregson.
Side-by-side battle for the 5th spot. Johnny Sauter, the 21 on the inside, Friesen, the 52 on the outside, with Jesse Little, the 97, right behind him.
I am so proud of Jesse Little and that team. They only have 3 or 4 full-time employees. He always drives it up toward the front.
And here comes Little working on Sauter now after Friesen got around. Friesen sits 5th, Sauter 6th, Jesse Little 7th. And behind them, the winner of playoff race number 1, Justin Haley, in that 24.
Racetrack's cooling off, Mike. That draft is coming into play now.
Yeah, remember that 4.5 second stage 1 win by Gregson in this 18 truck? They're not going to get out 4.5 seconds between now and the finish of this race, I can guarantee you.
For second place, Nemechek has it. Gregson wants it. Grant Infinger is the one they're chasing. Infinger looking the strongest he's looked all season long. He said he likes Las Vegas, and he feels like their 1.5 mile program has continued to get better and better, and he has run well here in the past, and he is showing some real power out front tonight.
Well, it looked like John Hunter maybe moved up to block Todd Gilliland, and that opened the door on the bottom for Friesen. Johnny Sauter to try to come through.
It's like Sauter's truck's coming alive a little bit too as this race is progressing.
Yeah, he's really struggled on the restarts, really didn't have the speed. He has by far more speed this time than he did the time before as he tries to make the move under Gilliland.
How about that 52 of Friesen running 4th, Caitlin?
Well, Vince, listening into his radio, overall pretty happy with the balance, but told the team he's still a little bit tight in 1 and 2. But talking with him earlier today, he told me he knows the 1.5 mile program is a strong suit for this team. Also adding he feels like some of his dirt experience was really going to help him for some of the conditions that he was going to see at this racetrack. Hermie.
The 21, you guys mentioned Johnny Sauter. Truck is better on this run. Why? He's using his experience to talk to his crew chief, Joe Shear Jr. He told Joe, prior to coming back down pit road, they had made track bar adjustments the last 2 times down pit road. Johnny Sauter said, Joe, we've got to use wedge, take the track bar back to where it was, and make our adjustments with wedge. And obviously, Johnny likes it, and the truck likes it. Johnny Sauter, although like in a battle with the 52, he likes the way the truck is driving right now.
That was kind of a hold your breath moment for Sauter right there.
And we talked about at the top of the show, this track is going through a transition. It's getting cooler, and that means it's going to change the way these trucks handle. So sometimes it just comes to you, and that's certainly what you hope would happen. Gregson, obviously, with that big win in the first stage, drove away from the field. These other trucks are getting better.
Yeah, remember, it was about 100 degrees earlier today, and then even when we started the race tonight, track temperature at about 114. The sun has now set, and the track's starting to cool, and we've seen that draft expand as well as the temperatures have cooled and the track conditions have changed. Great point, Mike.
Good battle here for the 4th spot. That's actually 3rd, 4th, and 5th right there with Nemechek, Friesen, and Sauter.
Sauter has won 5 times this season, more than anyone else in the series. 2 of those wins have come on the 1.5 mile. And when you look at the 1.5 mile tracks we've run this season, no one has a better average finish than Johnny Sauter. But he hasn't been at the front yet tonight. Currently sits in that 5th spot. Hasn't let him get too far away, but he hasn't had that truck that has shown the ability to lead yet this evening.
The groove has migrated up. John Hunter Nemechek has carried him a little bit up the racetrack. Stuart Friesen was right in his tire tracks over there in 1 and 2. Now he's going to try to take a look on the inside. Not able to do anything this time.
Fairly early here in the final stage. Remember, this final stage is 70 laps, and we've got 57 to go. Everyone will have to come to pit road one more time.
I think this 21 truck of Sauter's faster than these two guys ahead of him, but just can't figure out a way around. He's trying to peek to the outside. Friesen closed the door.
And they have a little history together, too, Friesen and Sauter, and tend to wear on each other's nerves, it seems, on occasion. So we'll see what kind of patience they both show one another.
Much like with Gilliland and Gregson, these guys are teammates at GMS.
And really, as frustrating as it might be, you can't afford to do something stupid and put an end to your night.
Wow,
and cost yourself some serious points.
This 18 truck is just so solid. He was able to run down Grant Enfinger. He's been working over the 98 truck, has Gregson, but not able to make them pass yet.
Look at that run he gets off of turn number 4 there.
Phil, how much do you think these drivers might be rolling off the gas, trying to play with making a run on the exit to see if they can get the momentum to make the move and finish the pass?
See, Friesen not going to be able to make it. It's going to get loose down on the bottom of the racetrack. I think if you're running in their tire tracks, Mike, there's really nothing you can do about it. You have to get the momentum like we saw Brett Moffitt do at Michigan that time when he made the pass on Johnny Sauter for the win. You have to back up and get a little bit of a run, get some momentum.
And that cost Friesen the spot as he lost it to Johnny Sauter, and now Sauter tries to make the move on Nemechek with a little more success possibly.
Johnny's truck has gotten better and better and better. It came around way quicker on this run than it has the previous runs.
Is he going to be able to slide up in front of Nemechek? Yes.
So Johnny Sauter into third. A couple of seconds behind the second place truck of Noah Gragson. And they're all chasing the 98 of Grant Enfinger.
I'm like Michael. I think if now that Johnny Sauter has got clear of that battle, he may drive up and catch those two trucks running up front, 1 and 2. Enfinger and Gregson.
There you can see the gap. There's Enfinger. Nice run through the center of the corner. Gregson flares up a little bit high. But I think it's important if you're Gregson right now, you need to be sizing up Enfinger, rolling off the gas, making sure you have your momentum on exit, not entry. I think that's some of the games you see these guys playing. Not Johnny Sauter, though. He's wide open looking at that tailgate of the two trucks ahead of him.
Great battle here side by side. Gilliland and Friesen. Guys, with 52 laps to go, that means we're in our window. If the caution flag were to come out now.
Oh, trouble. Around. It's Gilliland. Got hooked on that right rear.
Well, there's that caution window we were talking about.
Jesse Little was on the outside.
Little was there, and it's tough to tell. We'll have to look on the replay. Did Little come down, or did Gilliland move up?
We'll watch the replay and make that call, Vince, but it looked like just two guys racing hard for a position. I can't imagine Little would have come down, but you come through the tri-oval at the front straightaway, you've got to move around a little bit to make the turn.
A lot of damage to that JBL Tundra. See, it's shedding rubber from the tires.
Yeah, the replay here will give us a better indication.
Looks like Jesse was just trying to follow the tire tracks of Friesen, and I'm not sure that Todd really knew he was there trying to get in that hole right behind Friesen.
That certainly wasn't anything intentional. I think Jesse Little was just drafting behind Friesen. You can see there Gilliland came up just a bit. And fortunately for Little, he didn't get any more damage than he did, but unfortunately Gilliland's night will be over.
Well, Todd Gilliland was running in that 6th spot. Up ahead is the incident. The view from Cody Coughlin's truck.
Coughlin does a nice job there not getting into the back of Haley. As Haley rode off the gas, they were able to both slip by.
Boy, a frustrating outing for Todd Gilliland. They have been, as many of the nights have been, or the races have been for this team, they have had speed, but just haven't been able to get oftentimes what you feel like they deserve on a particular race.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're going to be able to repair this truck, Phil.
No, I don't think so either. Guys, remember, Todd Gilliland is only 18 years old. He wasn't even old enough to run the 1.5 miles or the bigger tracks when we started the season. He's really an outstanding talent. He's going to win a lot of races.
Expected to be full-time in this for this team next year at Kyle Busch Motorsports. As Phil mentioned, missed 4 races at the beginning of the year because he wasn't old enough, was just 17 when the season started, couldn't run the big tracks.
But we are in our window now with 50 laps to go. Every team can come to pit road and make it to the end of the race, and I think we got to do it. I think we come in now, get some more tires to go to the end of the race. They all should all have one set of tires left in on pit road.
And we see how important track position is. I mean, you've got to be at the front of this pack if you're going to be able to contend for the victory. You find yourself on a different pit strategy and have to pit later after all these lead trucks pit now. I think there's no way you win the race.
Well, this track has lent itself to a lot of long runs at the end as you look back through the history of the racing here at Las Vegas. So you don't want to take any chances that you're going to get another yellow. This may be your last chance, and you don't want to have a set sitting there unused.
That's what Jeff Hensley right there, Grant Enfinger's crew chief, is talking about. Here they come.
Grant Enfinger leading the long line down, and they're coming toward Caitlin Vincey. Enfinger, the leader.
Yeah, Vince, Grant Enfinger telling his team that he's just a little bit snug, but he's not hitting the splitter as much as he was. His crew chief, Jeff Hensley, said we'll go ahead and make a track bar adjustment to try and loosen you up, also top off with fuel, but no tires was the call for the 98 Hermie.
The 21 of Johnny Sauter, in his words, said this truck has finally come to life. It's turning much better now with those last adjustments. They're going to the track bar once again. The right side tires going on. Should be a 4-tire stop for Sauter. The 18 of Gregson, he likes his truck as well. A little bit tight off of turn 4 was the remarks from Noah Gregson. 4 tires for the 18. He's down and away.
No tires for the 98 of Enfinger. Surprised?
And only 2 for Friesen and Rhodes. Yes.
Yes, I'm very surprised.
I don't think that's the right call. I know that times haven't fallen off a great deal, but this is when things start to get tighter. As we race toward 20-10 to go in this race, you've got to have every bit of the handling of your truck you can possibly have, and he's going to give up some handling with those used tires.
He's got about 20 laps on those tires, Mike.
We're going to find out. The late stages at Las Vegas. Back here in Las Vegas, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, playoff race number 2, less than 50 to go, and an interesting decision as the leader Grant Enfinger came to pit road and elected not to take tires. What's the story, Caitlin?
Yeah, Vince, and Jeff Hensley is the crew chief who made that decision on no tires. What are your thoughts on the strategy play?
Well, I watched the Ford truck there, and he didn't get tires. He had about 15 or 20 laps on him and dropped the green. He went backwards. So tires do mean a lot. Our truck's pretty balanced right now. Grant said the grip level was still pretty decent, so we can make it on fuel, obviously, but so can everybody else. But if we get a caution here at about 15 or 20 laps, 30 laps in, we come in and get tires. We'll have 30 lap fresher tires and should be able to drive back up through there. So we'll see. Might not have been the right call, but we're going to live and die by our decision here.
Thanks for your time. Good luck to you, Vince.
Jeff Hensley, 13 wins as a crew chief in the Truck Series. He's no rookie. It's a calculated decision there, but is it the right one?
Well, we're in Vegas, and he's gambling.
Absolutely.
He's gambling. A caution comes out at the perfect time to get on pit road and get those tires, and then he's gambling that he can race back through the field. I think it's a bit of a stretch.
And, Michael, we were talking during the commercial break. The 18 of Noah Gregson was all over Grant Enfinger, so he may have felt like he had to do something to try to get that inequality back. So maybe fresher tires later on is what's going to be the ticket to the win.
Always seems to be a thriller here in Vegas, and always seems to be a thriller when USC and Texas get together. Remember part 1, Vince Young dazzled at the Rose Bowl. Part 2, a double overtime thriller. Get ready for the trilogy. USC and Texas tomorrow, 8 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Well, what a fun time of year it is for a sports fan. You've got the racing in the playoff time. Football has started up. Baseball getting ready to hit the playoff stretch. There's a triple header here at Las Vegas this weekend. The first race in the playoffs for the Monster Energy Cup guys. The final race of the regular season for the Xfinity Series.
Former Truck Series champion Eric Jones on the pole for the Cup race, the Monster Energy Cup race on Sunday.
And these are going to be 45 intense laps when they throw that green flag. These guys scrambling for that track position and getting themselves up toward the front. We've got some trucks up toward the front that we haven't seen up there. In the 4th spot, Mike Schneider, he's got some older tires. It's going to be interesting to see how they're able to mix and battle on this restart like we've seen all night long with the differing tire grip that we'll see.
The Rookie of the Year points leader, Myatt Snyder. The 98 of Enfinger, the control truck. He won stage 2. Can he lead the rest of the way or finish the job and get a win here in Las Vegas?
Remember, right now he's racing against 2 tires. No tires on him. He's going to lose the battle with 2 tires on the 52 of Friesen.
And that's Ben Rhodes just inside of Enfinger for second. Enfinger secures that spot and looks to make the move on the outside around Friesen.
How about that one?
Wow.
The oldest tires in the field driving around the outside of Friesen.
That's that draft. He was able to use it perfectly to get into position to take the lead away. Can he complete it now?
Getting a little help from his teammate behind him, Ben Rhodes in that 41. Great view from the visor cam of Rhodes.
This is the Ford onboard. Look at that draft. Pull him right up to Grant Enfinger.
That was a push Enfinger really needed, but he just can't clear Friesen.
Friesen has never won in the Truck Series. Enfinger has won once at Talladega. Rhodes gives him a big push this time, and Enfinger goes to the front. Teamwork from the Thor Sport camp.
Absolutely. I love this view. Feel like I'm riding in that truck with him. Hear him working the gas down in the center of the corner. The truck just didn't want to grip. Rolled off a bit. Saw the front 2 trucks pull away. Now watch that draft pull him right back up there.
Look at Gregson's losing spots on the inside of the racetrack.
Slipping back on that white line. Right there by Matt Crafton.
John Hunter Nemechek with some drafting help from the 21 of Sauter, trying to make the move on Myatt Snyder.
Crafton and Gregson at separate times today, they've had trucks that I've thought have been the fastest trucks on track, and right now they're just trying to get through some traffic. Wow, 4 wide.
Matt Crafton all the way to the top of the racetrack to pass several trucks. Look at Johnny Sauter in the middle with a 21 truck.
Sauter's able to pull up on the outside. That was a good corner for the 21 truck. Gregson still trapped down on the bottom.
Gregson in 9th. Brett Moffitt back there in 10th. It's been a very quiet night for Moffitt. Oh, contact between Friesen and Enfinger. Both save it, and Rhodes is going to take advantage.
Remember last year's winner, Ben Rhodes. First time we've seen him all the way up to the front here.
Wow.
Told you as these laps wind down, they're not going to let off the gas. Looked like exactly the case there where Friesen was pushing hard on the back of the 98 of Enfinger, and they got together.
How about Ben Rhodes going to the front, trying to secure that lead? Hermie.
Vince, do we remember where Ben Rhodes started this race? Shotgun on the field all the way in the back. He's made his way to the front. His truck's been really well balanced. He did take 2 tires on that last pit stop, so he's got 2 more than the 98 in a fast truck and a lot to race for right now.
Are you surprised that when Enfinger took no tires, just fuel only on that last stop, that he's been able to hold on as well as he has at the front here?
That truck, Vince, just looks like it handles so well through the center of the corner. Looks like he almost picks up speed as he goes through the middle. Gets a push there from John Hunter Nemechek. Not really surprised now. I just don't know how long those tires will hang in there as good as the guys that he's racing against. Those tires will start to wear, and that'll be a disadvantage as laps wind down.
Now this racing looks just like it did in the spring when we saw this huge pack racing together.
So Rhodes now takes the point from Enfinger, and Johnny Sauter comes along with Ben Rhodes into the 2nd spot.
And Vince, if Enfinger ever loses that track position, gets back 6th, 7th position, then it'll really be a detriment.
John Hunter Nemechek trying to get around Enfinger for 3rd. Got to go to break, but you're not going to miss anything on track, side by side. Going to keep on trucking from Vegas.
In the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series playoffs, we know what it takes to win the championship. This. This.
Go.
And a whole lot of.
That's what I'm talking about! Yes!
Because to be champion,
Sauter and Moffitt side by side.
you've got to lay it all on the line.
Hey! Chuck Norris? Can you sign my Tacoma?
I'll be glad to.
From the fist of a legend rises a new action star. A hero who's there to save the day and the night. So fearless, so rugged, he's tough as Chuck.
You replaced me with a truck?
Toyota, let's go places.
As people who love the outdoors, we know what we stand for. We stand for fish, wildlife, and conserving the places they call home. We stand for the traditions we inherited and that we must pass on. We stand for great gear, fair prices, expert service, and memorable experiences. At Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, we stand together for you.
1 piece of KFC all-white meat chicken. 2 pieces of KFC all-white meat chicken. Holy smokes! This is the most white meat ever assembled in a $5 fill-up. Get this deal before it flies the coop. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
In the NASCAR playoffs, the energy transforms everything.
The pack is flying apart.
An infield becomes the place to be. A spectator becomes a fan. An experience becomes unforgettable.
You lit the track on fire.
And a driver becomes a champion.
Quite the party in Victory Lane.
Be there as these drivers lay it all on the line.
Wow. Ready the needle.
Get your tickets to the NASCAR playoffs by visiting NASCAR.com/tickets.
You saw it during the break as we were side by side, the incident involving the 52 of Stuart Friesen, who was running 6th. John Hunter Nemechek collected in that spin as well. And here comes Grant Enfinger. Caitlin is there.
Yeah, Vince, you see the 98 coming down a pit road. A little bit of damage there on the right side, just grazing it. Listening in to Jeff Hensley, the crew chief, he said, we're just going to put 4 tires on it, make sure everything has clearance, no other adjustments for the 98.
Boy, really slow on the right front. I made a change.
Looked like they might have been beating that fender out a bit. He had a big hammer in there, but this doesn't really matter, Vince, because this team's going to start at the back. Not that big of a rush. Want to make sure the fenders are clearance okay. Get those 4 tires. This basically is the best case scenario for Jeff Hensley with that call he made. He wanted to run some laps and then come in and get those fresher tires. We saw Grant really hang in there well with those older tires and wonder how he's going to be able to fight through all this traffic to get back up front.
Well, and really, I think dodged a bullet too. You saw, as Caitlin mentioned, that little bit of damage on the right rear. So he obviously had gotten into the wall.
He got in the wall trying to avoid the spinning Stuart Friesen.
What about that job? You can see how tough it is for Jeff Hensley to make those calls. He knew he took a chance. He thinks maybe this is a perfect scenario for him to be able to have the fresher tires.
It's like Friesen just got loose there.
He sure did. Underneath the 88, see the 98, that's when he got into the outside wall.
What a great job by Grant Enfinger squeezing through that small hole. Watch this driving by the 98 on the outside.
Got into the 88 of Crafton just a little bit there on the left rear.
Can't even see where he's going. Squeezes in that hole. Man.
Well, I tell you, for Stuart Friesen, that could have been disaster considering his position in the playoffs. He was able to gather that up fairly well, all things considered.
Look at that mess up ahead that Cody Coughlin's looking. How do you decide which way to go? Does a nice job of getting it woed down and missing those 2.
And a lot of help from his spotter, Terry Cook, too.
Friesen made a mistake on the bottom of the road. We talked about how these guys are going to be pushing harder and harder as we go toward the checkered. Got down on the bottom and got loose. Clipped Crafton. Crafton's really fortunate to get away, as was Grant Enfinger. See what kind of damage and what kind of speed. You can see some tire smoke there on the 52 truck. Can he still contend?
The good news is right now he's still on the lead lap, as is Grant Enfinger.
So Enfinger just inside the top 20, Friesen back around the 25th spot. But how about that top 6? All playoff contenders, led by Johnny Sauter and Ben Rhodes on that front row, with Haley and Crafton in row 2. Gregson and Moffitt will be in the 3rd row for the restart.
How about Moffitt? Only 1 stage point today. Finished 12th in the first stage, 10th in the second stage. Now he's in 6th.
Welcome to the party, Brett Moffitt. Let's see what we can do here as the laps wind down.
He's a closer, you know.
He is that.
Well, it's been a challenge for that team. His crew chief Scott Zipadelli told me yesterday after practice, he said, I got some work to do tonight, trying to figure out how to make this truck better. It's been a very quiet evening for this group. Didn't qualify that well, and the racing hasn't really been much of a factor. We'll see if he can become one here in the final 30-plus laps.
Nice even restart there. Ben Rhodes on the bottom does a nice job of launching with Matt Crafton and Johnny Sauter locked together on the outside.
How about Matt's going to make it 3 wide on the outside?
3 wide in the front row, 3 wide in row 2.
Johnny Sauter stuck in the middle once again.
This looks like 4 wide.
Brandon Jones gave it a look to make it 4 wide, decided to back out, and now it's Sauter and Crafton fighting for the lead.
I talked to Junior Joyner this morning. I said, do you think you're in a must-win situation? He said, without a doubt, we're here to win this race.
It's been a long time since Crafton's been to victory lane, back last year at Eldora. Moffitt and Gregson both with a little wiggle. Somehow they both gather it up.
Matt Crafton with the momentum on the outside. He's going to clear the 21 truck of Johnny Sauter.
Again, it was Ben Rhodes giving his teammate a little bit of a nudge.
And he grabs 2nd spot from Johnny Sauter.
Matt Crafton to the front. Battle for 3rd is between Moffitt and Brett Jones, or for 4th rather.
Brandon Jones on the bottom in that black truck.
Sauter inside of Ben Rhodes for 2nd.
Guys, this is one of the few 1.5 miles that Matt Crafton has not gone to victory lane on. He's been the last pass for the win 3 times here at this racetrack.
And look at this battle for 2nd. We've seen the 21 truck of Sauter get stronger and stronger as the run goes along. Really able to stick that bottom and complete passes. But he's got his hands full right now with Ben Rhodes. Oh, contact on the back, Brett Moffitt.
Again, it's Moffitt and Gregson again with contact.
I believe the 51 of Brandon Jones made contact initially with Brett Moffitt, and that put Brett Moffitt into Noah Gregson, and he has a tire rub.
Look at this 98 truck. Brett Moffitt to the bottom, 3 wide.
Remember Enfinger came in and got those 4 tires? There's the battle at the front for the lead. Sauter side drafting Crafton. Can he make it stick?
What a great run off of turn 2 for Johnny Sauter.
Sauter got his first career win here at Las Vegas. Trying to get win number 6 of the season tonight, and there's a problem for the 18 of Gregson after that contact. He does indeed have the tire rub that you guys mentioned.
Huge tire rub on the left front. You can see it right there. All the letters are gone off the sidewall of that tire.
A lot of smoke. I know Rudy Fugue on that team are really concerned right now. Do they come to pit road, put another left front tire on it? The smoke has gone away. There goes the tire. It blows out.
Gregson able to get it down onto pit road. But under green, it's going to be costly. 25 to go.
Just a victim of circumstances. A couple guys racing hard.
Yeah, they were 4 wide on the back straightaway, and man, I'm surprised they made it as long as they did.
Stage 1 winners led more than 30 laps. Hermes there with Gregson.
Another tough break at the end of a race. in the playoffs for the 18 of Noah Gregson. You can see the damage. They've got to pull the fender off the left front tire. It's left sides only. They are already on the truck, but trying to clear out some of the fenders. He's down and away.
Looked like there was some miscommunication there. He tried to stop. This is not what a playoff contender needs to have happen. I don't think he cleared the orange box getting onto pit road. The tire blew out so late. Let's see if when he comes in.
Oh yeah, has to have all 4 of them underneath that orange box, so that's going to be a commitment line violation for the 18, a penalty. And
yeah, it's going to bring him back in for a pass through.
And that's no fault of Gregson's. I mean, he was just trying to gather that truck up at that point.
What about Jeff Hensley's pit call? I bet he's breathing a little bit easier now, huh? We saw how stressed he was up on that pit box.
Oh, and now it's Stuart Friesen doing a little yard work.
Be careful. Don't let that splitter dig in.
So Friesen, as the caution comes out, Friesen, of course, had that contact after losing control of the truck and had some contact with John Hunter Nemechek that did some left side damage, and now has brought out the caution again.
Going to have another restart. Johnny Sauter's been a little bit vulnerable on the restarts.
And what about Grant Enfinger with those fresher tires?
Friesen just lost it again. He's running back there just inside the top 20.
Yeah, a lot of damage to that truck, though. It's certainly affected the aerodynamics, Vince.
And really, Friesen, I mean, he's gone around a couple of times, but it could have been worse both times. You see damage there on the left rear.
Yeah, the left rear tire's flat. You wonder if maybe the fender had rubbed that tire, and that was the reason why he lost control. Get to pit road and see what was rubbing, put a tire on it, and live to fight another lap or two.
Gonna go to break. Don't worry, you're not gonna miss a thing. Gonna keep on trucking at Las Vegas. When we go green, there'll be less than 20 to go.
It's playoff time in Texas, when NASCAR giants battle in the Citadel of Speed. Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch. The greatest of them all will soon gather before us to face the ultimate test, the AAA Texas 500. They race at Texas Motor Speedway, Sunday, November 4. 2 tickets and a scanner for as low as $99 at TexasMotorspeedway.com.
We the people, defined by the moments we share with our families and our friends, doing the things we love. We the people are always stronger when we're together. The 2018 Ford Expedition, the J.D. Power highest ranked large SUV in initial quality.
1 piece of KFC all white meat chicken. 2 pieces of KFC all white meat chicken. Holy smokes! This is the most white meat ever assembled in a $5 fill-up. Get this deal before it flies the coop. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
In the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series playoffs, we know what it takes to win the championship. This. Clear. This.
Go.
And a whole lot of.
That's what I'm talking about! Yes!
Because to be champion,
Sauter and Moffitt side by side.
you've got to lay it all on the line.
As people who love the outdoors, we know what we stand for. We stand for fish, wildlife, and conserving the places they call home. We stand for the traditions we inherited and that we must pass on. We stand for great gear, fair prices, expert service, and memorable experiences. At Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, we stand together for you.
In the NASCAR playoffs, the energy transforms everything.
The pack is flying apart!
An infield becomes the place to be.
Wreck it bad.
A spectator becomes a fan. An experience becomes unforgettable.
You lit the track on fire.
And a driver becomes a champion.
Quite the party in victory lane.
Be there as these drivers lay it all on the line.
Wow. Threading the needle.
Get your tickets to the NASCAR playoffs by visiting NASCAR.com/tickets.
8 different winners this season. Can Grant Enfinger add his name to the list on this spectacular Las Vegas night?
Oh, I love a Ferris wheel at the racetrack. Adds some nice color to the setting, don't you agree?
Absolutely. How about Grant Enfinger? What a great recovery he has made. Got into the outside wall, came to pit road, put 4 tires on. He has 15-lap fresher tires than the guys he's racing around right now.
He'll restart on the inside of row 2 alongside his teammate Ben Rhodes. ThorSport with 3 of the 4 trucks in the first 2 rows. Matt Crafton up there on the front row, starting alongside Johnny Sauter, the control vehicle.
I think these guys are going to get into each other. I think we're going to see some action, some spins, maybe a crash it's too tight and they're trying too hard. It's the playoffs. Every spot matters.
The green is waving. 18 to go at Las Vegas.
See if Johnny can get that momentum from the outside. He has Ben Rhodes pushing him.
That's where his truck's so strong. Middle of the corner off. You could see it there. He was able just to fly around the outside of Matt Crafton.
Enfinger along the bottom inside of Crafton for 4th.
How about Brett Moffitt up there racing for 2nd in the 16 truck?
Moffitt's been quiet all night, but closing time is usually when he makes his noise, and we're getting close.
He usually waits till there's 1 or 2 laps to go.
He might be doing that now, just positioning himself perfectly to swipe another one late.
Well, Grant Enfinger has been so strong tonight. Right now he sits 4th. There's Justin Haley in the 24. The winner of the playoff opener at Canada, and he's had a solid night tonight.
Caught a glimpse of Crafton back there. He really got shuffled out on that restart. He restarted up there with Johnny Sauter, and he's back to 6th. There he is right there, the yellow 88.
The laps are dwindling down as you see Noah Gregson come back to pit road. He had fallen a couple of laps down, had to come under green because of that tire change, and then also had a commitment line violation.
Matt Crafton with a nice run across the bottom is able to clear John Hunter Nemechek.
Hermie?
This is just going from bad to worse for the 18 of Gregson. Right rear tire was going flat. They've got some kind of issue with the right rear, so they put 2 right side tires on, sending back on the way. But very difficult ending to this race for the 18.
Well, and you saw on the right-hand side of the screen, thank you, Hermie, the 0-4 of Corey Roper down through the infield grass, but has not brought out the caution. We stay green on track, and Johnny Sauter continues to lead, and now the caution is out.
Guys, I got to tell you, I get as nervous here at Las Vegas watching these cats race as I do at Talladega.
It looks about the same, doesn't it?
It looks a whole lot the same, and you know how hard these guys are going to try over the last 10 laps, and how difficult it's going to be to keep these trucks headed in the right direction.
Corey Roper from Baytown, Texas, making his 4th start of the season, and the 51 of Brandon Jones with quite a bit of damage as well.
Probably related, I would think.
The 52 of Friesen gets the free pass. See, they're doing quite a bit of extensive repair on that right rear of Jones.
Looks like the left front as well, some damage there. Roper's truck, thought he was going to be able to get it back to the pit road, but not quite able to do so, and NASCAR had to throw the caution.
Well, it's going to set us up for a shootout to the finish, and you know, half the races in the truck series that we've run here in Las Vegas, the final lead change has occurred in the last 7 laps, and might be setting ourselves up for just that kind of finish tonight.
And about every race that Brett Moffitt has won, he's led the last lap, and that's been about it. Been passed for the lead late in every race he's won. It's been an amazing storybook year for that team. Brett does such a great job behind the wheel. Got his playoff mustache rolling. Came into Vegas with a lot of confidence. And look, a guy that wasn't even a part of the story the first 3 quarters of this race finds himself right up in the front battling for the win.
He takes a lot of pride in that mustache. You think there's some power in that?
He said it's a playoff stash.
Yeah,
playoff stash.
Gives him a little extra confidence.
Yeah, I like it. I like these truckers, man. They're so much fun. Their hearts are all about racing, and they put it all right out on the end of their sleeve and just show how hard they battle.
And I like what Moffitt has brought to this series too. I mean, he's a driver that's had experience at the Cup level, but he has really given this series a shot in the arm, a jolt of excitement this year.
Look at this record. That is simply amazing that he's taken the lead with 1 or 2 laps to go in every race that he's won. Now, you see Iowa, he led 76 laps to win that race, right? Well, he got passed on the last lap, and he passed back to get the checkered. So there should be an asterisk beside that Iowa record, because that would keep it perfect. His record of 1 or 2 laps before he takes the lead to win.
The 41 of Ben Rhodes will restart alongside Johnny Sauter on the front row, and let's talk with his crew chief, Eddie Turconis.
Yeah, Vincent, Brett Moffitt is not the only team that's into the mustache game. These guys got it going on the 41. You guys had to go all the way to the back of the field to start this race. Now you've got a shot to win. What does your driver have to do on this next restart to get it done?
I think he just have to keep doing his job. You know, he's doing a fantastic job all day in these 4 days 150. You know, we knew we had to take it. You know, we had to go to the back and make sure everything was right on the motor. They're still beating us at the end of the straightaway. We don't have the top end speed, and we don't know if it's motor or is it just the drag on the truck. But I mean, the kid is doing a fantastic job on restarts, and he knows the track position matters. And we just have to stay up front all night. You know, I think we have a shot for Johnny, and we just have to be there at the end. So we're there at the end, and you know, proud of the kid. You know, we start all the way in the back, and we have a shot to win. So that's what we're here for.
Vince?
Ben Rhodes, the 21-year-old from Louisville, Kentucky, won at Kentucky Speedway earlier this season. There's Corey Roper in that 04. We saw the damage that truck had on the left front. Here's what happened.
Oh, problem for the 51 truck of Brandon Jones trying to get to pit road, and Roper just didn't know the 51 was slowing down and got into the back of him.
And it was going to be an unscheduled pit stop for the 51 of Brandon Jones. Corey Roper unfortunately came along with nowhere to go.
Wrong place, wrong time for Roper.
Another one of the new teams here this year in the Truck Series. Brought some equipment from Brad Keselowski and some of the new NT1 engines, and came racing NASCAR style.
Hey, tomorrow want to check out Major League Baseball. Every win critical for the Dodgers as they face the Cardinals in a heated matchup. Or maybe you got the Nationals as they look to play spoiler with the Atlanta Braves. All happens 12:30 Eastern on Fox. Then the Twins take on the Royals at 7 Eastern on FS1. See it all on the Fox Sports app. To be that time of year in the Major League Baseball ranks. Good stuff.
See that 30 truck outside of row number 4? That's Austin Terrio. First time in a truck in a while. Had a horrible wreck here back in 2016. Actually broke his back. New team made their debut at Bristol with Scott Lagasse Jr. and Austin Terrio has driven that truck up into the top 10.
And right behind him is Ross Chastain, a guy that always seems to overachieve. He's got that 15 truck up in the top 10 here late in the going.
Camping World 10 to go at the restart.
Brett Moffitt gets to the outside.
Moffitt trying to get the lead from Rhodes. Great battle behind him. Sauter and Enfinger.
Sauter and Haley made some contact. Look at Terrio up there in the outside behind Haley.
No room for error back in the pack as they fight at the front.
Look at Johnny Sauter. Rebounds around the outside. Can he rally?
Moffitt in the lead with Rhodes, Crafton, and Haley. Chasing. Sauter up top.
Sauter's not done yet, Vince. You can see the speed of the 21. He was fighting to hang in the top 10 the last time down the back straightaway. See a little bit of a tire rub there on the left rear. Look at him run around the high side.
Johnny Sauter blows past Crafton.
I think Crafton has some sort of an issue.
Justin Haley challenging Crafton for position as well, with Timothy Peters right behind him.
Keep an eye on Johnny Sauter.
Moffitt clinging to the lead.
See Cody Coughlin making it 3 wide for a moment. Slots in behind the 98 of Enfinger.
What happened to Enfinger? Just not a great restart, and he's not been able to rally.
Back in that 8th spot. Been one of the best trucks all night. He's led the most laps. 38 laps led for Enfinger. But he's got plenty of work to do here in the final 7 if he's to score his first win of the year.
There's that 15 of Ross Chastain you were talking about, Michael, in the 8th position right now.
Timothy Peters back in the trucks. Good to see Timothy racing and running competitively up front.
Enfinger on the march, but does he have enough time, and can he get through the traffic to challenge for the win? It's Brett Moffitt in the lead, with Johnny Sauter passing Ben Rhodes for second.
Now the guys running 1-2 are top a lot of people's lists on the eventual champion for 2018.
Sauter's making that high line work, Phil. I love that. That's how you pass guys. If you just run to the bottom, you'll get hung there. Looks like Sauter's found something up top.
But Brett Moffitt's smart enough to know that Johnny Sauter's going up there too.
Fitting that they are in the front, leading the pack. Moffitt has won 4 times this season. Sauter has won a series high 5 races.
Sauter has to be patient here, I think.
Oh, and Friesen is around again. Boy, what a tough night it's been for Stuart Friesen, and that brings out the caution.
Or it's going to cost Johnny Sauter some laps.
And you know, that last restart, Sauter struggled. Fell almost all the way outside the top 10.
Most of the restarts tonight, Johnny Sauter has struggled.
But you know what? While it may be not what Sauter was looking for, it is what guys like Enfinger or Crafton, Rhodes were looking for, because now this restart's going to give them one more chance to make it count.
Absolutely.
See Ben Rhodes? He's got his visor up, so we're looking at his roof, but still got a great view of Johnny Sauter working his tires there.
Remember, the winner of this race, if it's Moffitt or Sauter, Rhodes, Crafton, Enfinger, going to guarantee their spot into the round of 6, regardless of what happens in our next race at Talladega.
Right now, our top 6 running positions, all playoff contenders. That guy's already into the next round. He's running 6th right now.
And if you're wondering about Friesen and Gregson, well, Friesen has had a variety of issues, brought out the caution 3 times tonight. Gregson, some contact and a tire issue, had to come to pit road, then got a penalty. He's a couple of laps off the pace, and look at that truck.
About 20 laps ago, that was a race-winning machine right there. You can see it's just reduced to junk at this point.
Well, what a year it's been for Brett Moffitt, a 4-time winner. Does it with drama, Mike.
There he goes around the top 3 wide, late at Michigan to get that big victory.
His first win in the Truck Series, passing his teammate Timothy Peters, and putting that sticker on the truck.
This is Atlanta. What a great restart at Atlanta. Makes it 3 wide, grabs the lead, and goes to victory lane for his first win of 2018.
And then late around John Hunter Nemechek to victory lane when he won at Chicagoland.
This is coming right down to the wire. Look how close that is. Passes Johnny Sauter on the last lap at Michigan.
On the last turn. He has a flair for the dramatic, doesn't he?
He sure does.
He knows he's got his hands full right here with Johnny Sauter. I think Sauter's truck's a little bit quicker right now. It's going to be all about this restart. What line does Moffitt choose? Who does he think the best pusher would be behind him? Does he want to go up top, or do you think he takes the bottom?
I think he takes the outside, don't you?
Well, neither one, Moffitt or Sauter, will have a teammate behind him. Ben Rhodes and Matt Crafton will start in row 2. They're from Thor Sport. Of course, Moffitt from Hattori Racing, Johnny Sauter, GMS. But for those guys in row 2, I mean, does it really matter? Because they're all out for their own right now. I mean, teammates aside.
Ben Rhodes is thinking 3 wide.
Yeah,
That's what Ben Rhodes is thinking right there. How do I jump this start perfectly and get to the inside of Johnny Sauter? And Sauter will go all the way off the track to keep Rhodes behind him. That's what's getting ready to be interesting, is who gets the best launch here.
Well, remember when Rhodes won this race last year, he went 3 wide on a late restart from the second row. From this very position, went 3 wide to take the lead and win the race.
And held off Christopher Bell in a great duel towards the end.
It's going to be NASCAR overtime, and we're going to take the green and then come around, and if we get the white, the next flag, whether it be the checkered or the yellow, would end the race. But if we don't come around to get that white and a caution comes out, we'll line them up and do it again, and we'll do it as often as we need to.
I don't know how these guys have been able to go 4 wide on these restarts.
Me either.
And we haven't had a wreck on a restart yet.
Yeah.
Who do you like here, guys?
I just like Moffitt. I think that Toyota engine he's got under the hood really is going to accelerate well on this start. He's got Matt Crafton behind him, giving him a push. I think I like those two together pushing out to the lead. Can they hold off the charge afterwards? We'll see.
I think it may key on what Ben Rhodes does on the inside of the second row.
Overtime in Las Vegas.
There goes Rhodes.
Sauter comes down to try to block. Meanwhile, Moffitt gets out front, and Crafton goes to the second spot.
Now Grant Enfinger's trying to get to the outside of Johnny Sauter.
It's Moffitt and Crafton. Contact between Enfinger and Sauter, and around goes Cody Coughlin. And the caution is out.
You said we hadn't wrecked yet on a restart, Phil. Now we have.
So Moffitt and Crafton, and then it was Enfinger and Sauter that got into one another, and eventually there's some contact involving Cody Coughlin. He couldn't save it.
What a save by Johnny Sauter. He tried to squeeze into a hole that I don't think was there, but because of that bold, aggressive move, squeezing in there, he's running in the 4th position, still with a chance to win this race. Watch Sauter, he just tries to get right up in front of Enfinger. There's not room to do so. They make contact, and it just stacks up the field. Then a big shove from John Hunter Nemechek in the back of the 2 truck of Cody Coughlin, and that turned him around.
Cody makes contact with the inside wall. You can see right there.
Heavy damage to that 2 truck of Coughlin.
That's a shame. Cody had been really competitive all night long. Didn't do anything wrong here. Just over-aggression by John Hunter Nemechek, hitting him in the back here.
The caution is out, and that means it's going to set up another overtime restart when we come back. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series from Las Vegas. Overtime try number 2. This time with Brett Moffitt and Matt Crafton on the front row.
Michael, you mentioned how good that engine accelerated in Brett Moffitt's truck. Matt Crafton, for the first time this year, is actually running a Ford engine, not the NT1. Same situation with that engine, maybe a little bit better acceleration.
But I like Brett Moffitt because Johnny Sauter's right behind him. Sauter's had the fastest truck. Plus, it's just too tempting for Grant Enfinger not to take Crafton 3 wide if he can get a good run on the bottom. Watch for Sauter to push Moffitt out to the lead.
Second try at overtime in Vegas. It's green. Moffitt jumps to the front.
Oh, and Sauter got 3-wided on the outside by Rhodes.
Yeah, not a good restart for Sauter. Meanwhile, Enfinger side by side with Crafton for second.
Look at the trucks beating and banging back there. 4 wide.
4 wide behind the bunch at the front. Trying to sort out positions. Meanwhile, it's Brett Moffitt in the lead with Grant Enfinger in second, and Justin Haley slipped into the third spot and around again. Caution, a bigger one this time. Timothy Peters involved. Austin Hill in the 02. Jesse Little, the 97. Well, that's a shame. Little was having a good night. They did not get to the line to get the white flag, so we're going to line them up and restart it again.
Or look at the damage on Nemechek's
big hit from John Hunter, who had a good night up until this point. Wow.
So Timothy Peters get turned around. Get a lot of damage.
They started wrecking on the back straightaway. It just finally all came together exiting turn 4.
You know, we made the comment, as you see the 938 of TJ Bell. Ben Rhodes earlier today in the media center made the comment that Vegas is like Talladega the West, and because the draft is so big, and we're starting to see that with all the wrecks here now.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we said at the start of the show the track was hot. There wouldn't be as much of a pack, but anytime you wind it down and cool the temperatures off and put these guys all together for these restarts, it's just too tempting to go 4 wide, and 4 wide just hasn't worked tonight.
There's John Hunter walking away from his damaged truck.
A lot of frustration. Peters around and in. I think maybe got a little help
Jordan
to
Anderson,
start with.
Yeah, get some damage with the 3 truck.
Look at Crafton squeezing inside of Rhodes, and there's Peters sideways.
You can see the green lights right now.
And there's the yellow before the leader. Moffitt gets to the line, so it's the indicator that we're going to line up and have a third try at overtime. Meanwhile, they're going to park them on the backstretch until we get this cleaned up.
Phil, is fuel beginning to be a concern? Maybe NASCAR stopped because these teams haven't been to pit road in so long?
Yeah, a lot of guys pitted on lap number 85, and that, you know, that we've run 139 laps, so that's 54. We saw our pit window somewhere between 50 and 55, but we've had 20 caution laps since those guys pitted on lap number 85. So I would think they should be okay on fuel.
Well, I knew you said 50 to 55 earlier, and we've
exceeded that.
We've gotten past that point, so I wondered how they were going to make it, but you're right. Those caution flag laps really help those guys save fuel. They'll actually turn the engine off and coast under caution to even save more fuel.
Yeah. Just the reduced speed is going to save fuel, but they'll even take it a step further. A lot of damage to the 02 of Austin Hill. He had another solid run going. TJ Bell was on the lead lap here, local youngster from Las Vegas.
You've got Friesen back there in 16th and Gregson in 23rd. They're not going to be factors in regards to the win tonight, but the top 6, I think, are all in play. Justin Haley, who will restart 3rd, has already won. He won at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park to open up the playoffs. But the other 5 in that top 6, this is such a huge race for them, because next it's Talladega. And you know what happens there.
Anything. Yeah. Anything can happen there.
Well, I think anything's happening at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. We saw it there, and then tonight in Las Vegas. It's playoff time, baby. These guys know they have to fight as hard as they can. If some guy squeezes you off late in the race, you're not going to take it. You're going to leave your foot on the floorboard.
2 will be eliminated when we go from Talladega. The run for the championship the rest of the way. Trucks are stopped on the backstretch under red as we get ready for our 3rd try at overtime here in Las Vegas. Brett Moffitt and Grant Enfinger will restart on the front row. And boy, it's been a wild couple of days for Moffitt and company. Let's go downstairs, check in with his crew chief. Caitlin.
Well, I got Scott Zippadelli. I appreciate you letting me sit on the pit box, but I would not want your job tonight. First of all, how'd you guys get to the front halfway through the race? You guys were outside the top 10 and struggling with your truck. So what made the difference to give you this opportunity?
Perseverance. We had really good stops. We've made a lot of changes. We weren't very good when we started the race. We made a lot of changes throughout the night, and clean air helps. Once we got in the top 5, the truck drove a little bit better, and here we are.
I know you got a lot of confidence in your driver. The guys in the booth been talking about how well he's able to close races and go to victory lane. So if you could give him some advice, which I'm sure you will, but he probably won't listen because he knows what he's doing anyway. But what would you like to see happen on this next restart, other than come back and get the white in the checker?
He just needs to hit his marks just like he did the last 2 restarts. We were 200 feet from winning this race. He knows exactly what he's doing. You know, not play any games, don't spin your tires, and don't let anybody get to the outside of you. You know, I thought we could have been in trouble that last run. He got a really good lead, but you know, we're going to be okay. But everybody in the Osaka Toyota Tundra has done a great job, and we just hope we can close this deal tonight.
Very confident crew chief, confident race team, confident driver, Vince.
Caitlin's voice has gotten a lot deeper.
Thank you, Hermie. Good stuff down there with Scott Zipadelli. Well done, Herm.
Hope to get them started. Settle it tonight in Vegas when we come back. Thanks, Mike. And as you can see, still waiting for the trucks to roll here at Las Vegas. Under red after that multi-vehicle accident. It will be a 3rd try at overtime with Brett Moffitt and Grant Enfinger on the front row for this restart.
I think a great call by NASCAR to park those trucks over there on the back. See so many trucks wrecked, damaged, debris everywhere. What a race it's been, Vince.
It has indeed, and it started with Noah Gragson on pole for the 5th time this season, and Gragson had the dominant truck early and won stage 1 handily.
Yeah, led every lap in that first stage. Ben Rose jumped to the outside, had to start from the very tail of the field along with Matt Crafton.
It didn't take either one of them long to get up toward the front, that's for sure. And we've had so many battles at the front of the pack throughout the course of the night. Look at Crafton down there making it 4 wide.
Call it 5 wide for a moment.
I counted 5 wide.
Gragson, as mentioned, the stage 1 winner. It was his 10th stage win of the season.
He won by over 4 seconds, and we haven't had 4/10 of a second, I don't think, between the top 5 since then.
Riley Herbst in that 46 got into the wall. Grant Enfinger came around and won stage 2, held off Matt Crafton. Crafton had gotten into the wall late in that run. But Crafton has been fast. He had this one slow pit stop, and fortunately for him, it wasn't on the last stop of the night. But you can see they have a little trouble there on the left front. Lost some positions, but Matt has been able to make his way back to the front. They had their problems in qualifying today, but Crafton's truck has been fast in the race. And then this issue between Gilliland and Jesse Little put an end to Todd Gilliland's night. Enfinger made a pit stop when others didn't after electing to take no tires when others came and took 2 and 4, and it ended up working out okay when Gragson had a tire issue and had to come to pit road. Friesen's been around and brought out the caution 3 times. Been a tough night for Friesen, but he's still managed to hang in there on the lead lap, sitting 16th.
One of our championship contenders having a rough evening. Now watch this mess. Johnny Sauter gets knocked out of the way, and then John Hunter Nemechek into the back of the 2 truck of Cody Coughlin sends him spinning down the back straightaway at 170 miles an hour.
Really trying to help him, trying to push him and get him going, but it turned him sideways. Cody made contact with the inside wall.
And then the big one.
Timothy Peters involved in that. Jordan Anderson got damaged. TJ Bell.
John Hunter Nemechek.
Yep. Jesse Little. And then Moffitt wasn't quite to the line yet when the yellow came out, so that means we will set them up and do overtime again.
Austin Hill also involved in that last incident.
You know, we mentioned at the beginning of the show tonight, the last 12 races here at Las Vegas, 12 different winners, and we're set up for maybe 13 in a row because you look at that top 6 Rhodes and Sauter, former winners here, but Moffitt, Enfinger, Haley, Crafton, none have gone to victory lane here at Las Vegas.
What about Justin Haley looking to go 2 for 2 in the playoffs here in 2018? He's going to restart third.
It's a good position to be in, inside second row.
I still like, I think I like Moffitt taking the top. That'll put the steamy truck of Johnny Sauter right behind him. Sauter just needs to make sure nobody jumps to the outside of him. That's what got him in the bind he's in now. Ben Rhodes was able to get to the outside on the last restart. Sauter rallied.
Stay tuned for Major League Baseball Whip Around coming up next here on FS1 as we're going a little long tonight because of the overtime situation and wouldn't go anywhere. It's going to be a thrilling finish, and it has been tight all night long. Remember we told you Grant Enfinger 33-1. You could get those odds on him earlier this week here in Vegas, and now he's restarting on the front row with a chance to get his first win of the season.
Every one of these guys up in the top 6, other than Justin Haley, knows that a win puts them in the second round of the playoffs. Justin's already in it.
There you see Haley up there in the 24 truck, Fraternal Order of Eagles.
It's the Carolina Nut Ford for Ben Rhodes, his teammate Matt Crafton, the Menards Ford on his outside.
Wow, this is intense for these drivers. They know this restart can make or break the deal.
Who's it gonna be? Moffitt, Enfinger, maybe Johnny Sauter gets his 6th win of the season. Can Justin Haley start the playoffs with back-to-back wins? Go a little deeper to row 3 with Matt Crafton and Ben Rhodes. It's overtime number 3 in Las Vegas. Who's your money on?
Oh, something's wrong with Moffitt. He may be out of gas.
Moffitt off the pace.
I think he's out of gas. Maybe it just.
It's picked back up again a little. I think he's back up to speed, but it's Enfinger at the front with Justin Haley behind him. Grant Enfinger trying to secure his first win of the season.
Watch Johnny Sauter. He's going to work to the outside of Justin Haley. Can he go search down the leader?
Sauter into second. The white flag, 1 to go. Enfinger in the lead with Sauter looking on the outside to challenge. Haley and Rhodes right behind.
Johnny has one more shot at him, guys.
Sauter looks at the high line. Enfinger holding the bottom. Grant Enfinger off turn 4. Here he comes. He's going to do it. Grant Enfinger wins at Las Vegas.
Awesome. Great job, everybody.
More to come. That's what I'm talking about. More to come.
How about that happy crew?
You know, sometimes when you go to Vegas and gamble, it pays off. That pit call that Jeff Hensley made was a big gamble, and he's going to drive straight to victory lane.
And we questioned it. Why did he give up tires there? He thought it was going to be too late.
Grant Enfinger has raced at Las Vegas 5 times in the Truck Series, and his position of finish has gotten better each and every time. And tonight, he'll go to victory lane.
I think Brett Moffitt fuel pump probably didn't pick the fuel up there when he went to the gas on that restart. Then it finally caught, but it was too late.
His 2nd career win. And the next track we go to, where he scored his 1st career victory, Talladega.
And he'll sleep well till then, too.
It's going to feel good.
Because he's into the next round of the playoffs.
And that's going to be a home game for him. Man, that's just a great feeling to put yourself into the next round. Know you're going to go to Talladega playing on house money.
The crew chief, Jeff Hensley, his 14th win as a crew chief.
He's going to play on house money that he won in Las Vegas.
It's only appropriate, isn't it?
Exactly.
And another win for ThorSport, and on the mile and a half, 9 of their last 13 victories have come on this configuration, and well, they were strong tonight with Ben Rhodes and Matt Crafton finishing in the top 5 as well. 3 of the top 5 out of the ThorSport camp.
Matt Snyder in 6th position.
Frustration for Moffitt. Look, Moffitt, the restart, just didn't want to go.
It took off initially, and then it just stalled out. See him wiggling the truck, trying to get fuel to the pickup.
– 33-year-old from Fairhope, Alabama, Grant Enfinger. He's a racer. I mean, you might find him being a crew chief at an ARCA race on a weekend.
Well, we talked about him being Mr. Consistency. I don't think he wants to have that tag tied to him. He wants to be a winner. And man, what dramatic fashion he pulled off the victory here in Vegas.
You know, he told me before the playoffs, he said the one thing we feel like we've just been missing is a little bit of speed to get us over the top. And I don't know what they've done, but we saw it tonight. I mean, he had, as Michael said, a lot of steam tonight.
And a lot of desire. And
that's what I was going to say, Michael, exactly.
Just not to be denied.
Well, Brett Moffitt restarted on the front row. What happened, Hermie?
We've seen this team and driver win in dramatic fashion several times this year. Tonight, you're leading on the final restart. They put the green flag out. What happened?
I just ran out of fuel. We didn't have enough under caution. I was trying to swerve it back and forth and keep the pickup box full, but yeah.
Did you guys have any concern about that before that restart?
No, we were supposed to be a few laps to the good, so it shouldn't have been an issue. It's a bummer when I'm 100 yards from the start-finish line, and I see him somewhat throw the white and then throw the caution, and then we have that happen. So it is what it is.
Tough break for Moffitt in the 16.
They'll probably find that he had enough fuel in the tank, but as he said, he couldn't keep it all in the pickup. The pickup's over in the right rear corner in these fuel cells.
Well, as you look at the playoff standings now, with Haley and Enfinger winning the first 2 races here in round 1, that means we go to Talladega with Ben Rhodes and Stuart Friesen on the outside, but they are certainly within striking distance.
What a great way for David Pepper to celebrate his 500th race in a row with this team. He's Grant Enfinger's spotter, and just to be able to be a part of that win and be his 500th race, that's pretty cool.
Hermie?
Well, Johnny Sauter ends up second. What a roller coaster ride it was for your team earlier in the race, not even really in the top 10, and you guys put yourself in position. It came down to the final couple of restarts. Where did you need to be, or what did you need to have happen differently to give yourself a shot?
Well, you know, it's just tough. Obviously, these restarts are crazy, and you got built motors that can turn 1,500 more RPM going through the RPM range, and on the restarts, they just launch. My restarts absolutely sucked tonight. Just awful. I don't know. The split from first to second gear, just terrible. But proud of Joe and all these guys on this Allegiant Travel Chevy. They did an awesome job. We were way off at the beginning, you know, and just kept flogging on it, working on it. I don't even know what adjustments they were making. I was just saying you need to do something big. But I finally thought I had it lined up perfect there with Kraft, and obviously a guy that you can count on to try to help you a little bit. And then the 16 ran out of gas, so we kind of had to snake around that, and he got off, got detached, and we just lost a little bit of momentum. So to come back and finish second was good. We just, you know, we just got a little bit of work to do. Obviously, we had the fastest truck the last half of the race, and I hate that we didn't capitalize on it, but there's just not much I can do differently. I tried to mix it up as much as I could, and we just got a little bit of work to do in the transmission department.
That's Johnny Sauter. He's second tonight. Let's go to Caitlin in Victory Lane.
Well, it is already a big celebration here in Victory Lane for Grant Enfinger. What an incredible moment for him and this race team. And Grant, everything you guys had to deal with tonight, overcoming some adversity, some strategy calls as well. How do you feel like this was a testament of you and your team? You guys earned this one.
No, I mean, it's kind of the culmination of all year. We've put together pieces together to win the race individually, but not as a whole, as a group. From the spotter, his 500 start here, the crew chief, the crew knocked him out of the park this week on pit road. And the truck was great. We had the best truck out there. So thankful for this Ford F-150. It's kind of sentimental favorite. I kind of wanted that Roush Yates motor to win, but I wanted to be in this 98 truck. So thank you for Duke and Rhonda Thorson for this opportunity. With them, we wouldn't be here. Pretty special to bring home the win tonight with Champion Power Equipment. They've been a big part of my career, and a lot of people not here. My wife's at home bearing down for the hurricane, so all those people are in our thoughts and prayers. So anyway, God was with us tonight, and thank you to everybody that's made it happen.
I mentioned the strategy earlier. Were you concerned at all in that second to last pit stop? Your crew chief making the choice to take no tires.
I mean, yeah, I was concerned, but you know, I put my mind to, you know, we're just going to go out here and race. We're not going to race with respect like we always do. We're going to race how all these guys have raced us. I feel like we did that. I feel like we did it in a fairly clean manner, but we had to step it up and be aggressive tonight, and all these guys did. We didn't have a good Ford F-150 yesterday during practice. These guys behind me made it good. We had the best truck out here. Very, very proud of that.
Nicely done. Enjoy it.
Grant Enfinger, the winner tonight in Las Vegas. What sticks out in your mind, Mike, from what we saw tonight?
Just what he said at the end of that interview. We had to be aggressive. We couldn't race with respect. We had to be hammered down, and you saw it at the end.
And I think we're going to see the same thing next time we go to Talladega here, the final race before the next round of the playoffs.
Grant Enfinger takes home the jackpot tonight. He's the winner in Las Vegas. Major League Whip Around coming your way next here on FS1.